What's going on, everybody? It's your boy ptkblam back with another video. How are all you beautiful people doing this beautiful Sunday afternoon, man?
Another
Hanging out at the
video? Are
shop
we doing a video?
podcast.
Are we doing a
Huh?
podcast? Are we doing a video or are we doing a
Sorry
podcast?
about that. Sorry about that, man. I'll be wrapped up in. Man, don't even.
I had to call you
How
out.
y'all doing? How y'all doing?
I had to ruin your flow
Good
and
Lord.
call
No,
you
it's
out.
all good. It's all good. If I said video, I do apologize. So another podcast. How's everybody doing this evening? No, but see, getting off to a slow start here. Looks like
Let's go.
Fuzz just jumped in here, but no. Shout out to everybody tuning in live, man. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Fuzz is here now. That's awesome. And we might actually have another guest sliding in here as well, and I will introduce him when he gets here as well, too, if he shows up. But shout out to everybody watching live. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Retweet the link, like the link, everything down there. Appreciate you guys, man. We're having a bunch of fun. Another Sunday, but let me go ahead and go around a horn here. We got more people on the way, hopefully, so let's go ahead and get started, man. First and foremost, we have the general of FSP, my cousin, Mav. How you doing? How you been, bro? How you feeling?
Good, man. Hopefully you're doing well and everybody else here is doing well as well. Yeah, just I've been playing some Triangle Strategy and
Nice.
digging that game. Yeah, it's off to a good start. Really digging the story. Actually, I wasn't expecting to be into the story as much as I am, but yeah, it's really good so far. Other than that, it's been into some sports games and stuff, School started recently with my daughter, so she got everybody in the house sick.
Lord.
brought home all those
Gotta
school
love that.
germs and stuff. So yeah, just getting over that as well. But yeah, other than that, man, everything's good, dude. It's good to be back here in the shop. I feel like it's been a while.
Oh, yeah, it's been a little bit. It's been a few months, but, man, it's always glad to have you back, brother. Always love having you here, and our guest, looks like our other guest, has showed up as well, too. So we got a packed house tonight, man. So if you're showing up just now, you're in for a awesome show, man. It's been a little bit since all five of us have here, so you guys in for a very, very special show. Once again, go tune in, go follow Mav as well, too. All of his information is down in the description below, but appreciate you, man. So let me introduce our other guest sliding in here as well, too. So it hasn't been on in a few months either, but what's up, 3-Bit? How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. It's good to be here. I'm literally I just got adopted a cat, and he's just in my house. So like right before the show, I was like, "Ooh, here I am," just like introducing myself to him and everything. So it's good. But you know what? It's good to be on here, Blam, Mav, Pong, Fuzz. Always good to be on shows with you guys. Gamescom. I was just catching up with all the Gamescom news and everything. But it's been busy, but it's been good. And I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
All right, man, let's do it, man. Shout out to the cat too, man. Hopefully that works out for you.
Yeah,
hopefully that works out for you, 3-Bit.
Scary right now, but
So many jokes that I'm just holding back right now. It's just
alone, right?
so many
intrusive
jokes
thoughts win,
right
Pong.
now.
Leave them be, brother. I know.
Well, he started out with like just got adopted before he said the cat, and I was like, whoa, like. Congratulations!
I'm making it easy for you guys. You guys didn't take
way too easy, 3-Bit. Way too easy, man. You got to make it give a bit more resistance, man. Come on now.
Just remember, this is the gentleman who admitted that he likes running trains. So come on. I'm just saying.
That wasn't me. That was
yeah, sure.
That's some old school fun speculation lore right there.
Yeah,
definitely. But shout out to you, man. We got, like I said, man, it's a FSP love in the house. We got a lot of FSP members here as well too. But shout out to you, 3-Bit, for making the show. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for hitting me up last minute. But always love having you here, brother. Always love your opinions and your thoughts, man. So glad you can make it, man. And on to my brothers, man. How you been, Pong? What you been up to? Anything to sell us this week, bro?
No, sir.
Any new things? Any new items? No,
sir. No items.
Good Lord.
No, I told you we're coming. I told you it's gonna be rough out. It's gonna be rough out in these streets, man. So I'm telling you right now, through next year, through early next year, it's gonna be rough. But no, I did try Delta Force, so I guess I can start there. But first of all, I'd like to thank Mav and 3-Bit for both showing up. We got we got pixelated echoes, we got PM and a PM, we got Xbox Ultimate. Man, we got everything going on tonight, man. I love this show. Yeah. So great to hear you, brothers, and 3-Bit especially, because I don't get to hear him at all anymore. So thank you all for showing up tonight. Yeah, no, man, I did try some Delta Force because obviously Battlefield 6 is over with. I am running Battlefield 2042 right now to open up the cosmetic skins. They launched a free battle pass for 2042 through October 7th. You can earn skins for Battlefield 6. So some people are very upset with them for doing that, but it's a smart business move. So I have been, I re-downloaded 2042, having a good time with the Iwo Jima. They redid the Iwo Jima map, and it's beautiful. So I guess I could tell you there, go play some 2042. It's not as awful as everybody says it is. It's actually still a pretty good damn time, and it's playing really well. The gunplay is freaking phenomenal still in that game. The sound is awesome. It does feel completely different than Battlefield 6. It is a stark reminder of how far they had drifted from that formula when you go back and play 2042 coming right off the beta. So that's been interesting. But I tried Delta Force. Delta Force free to play, and in fact, I thought you had to pay for the Black Hawk Down campaign. That is showing up as free, and I started playing that as well from Delta Force, because everybody was telling me, or a lot of people were saying, that it was very similar to Battlefield. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go check this out. It is a mashup of Call of Duty and Battlefield. It is a blend of both games. They don't do classes, they do operators, just like Call of Duty, with specialty weapons, all that kind of stuff. But the setup, as far as the Battlefield itself goes, pun intended, does feel a little bit like Battlefield, because they've got basically modes like Breakthrough, and that kind of stuff in there. Interesting game. I've got to dial in. I was talking about this with Steel on Saturday. Control still feels a little bit off. This is definitely one that if you're going to play with controller, you're going to want to go online and see somebody who is dialed in, fooled around with the controller a lot, and kind of give you that setup, because it does feel a little off with controller yet. I fiddled with it a little bit, but didn't put a whole lot of time into it. Good looking game, sounds great. Battles are chaotic as hell, but definitely not like I said, it's a mashup between the two. But campaign mode, Black Hawk Down, I ran into that thinking it was gonna be arcadey. No, that's sim. I entered the first building where they drop you off, and I just started rushing through the building, and I got two tapped coming around the corner real quick from the enemy. I was like, whoa, okay, we might want to slow down here. Level by level, clearing room, doing all the appropriate things as you would in a military sim, just taking it a much easier approach. But liking what I'm playing so far out of Delta Force. So I'll leave it there. I won't try to convince you all to go back and play Assassin's Creed Syndicate, even though it is a beautiful game in 2025 and 60 frames. But that's what I've been doing, man. But very little time for video games right now. So I've been under pressure. That's why it was so nice to get the Battlefield 6 beta in and have Steel and I played on those Saturdays the past couple weekends, because it actually gave me some game time. So, but yeah, nice. That's all I've been fooling around with, man.
Nice, man. Always playing something cool, man. So always looking out for us. Appreciate it. Nothing to sell, but you're still selling. You know what I mean? Nothing to sell, but you're still selling at the end of the day. So appreciate that, man. Got to get the hustle on. But yeah, great game. I've heard great things about it as well, too, man. So you guys go follow Pong as well, too, man. Last but not least, Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, Fuzz? How you doing? I know what you've been playing, because we've been playing a lot of Diablo, a lot of Division 2 as well, too. Oldies but goodies, but how you been, brother?
Well, I've been good. Been busy doing stuff around the house. Still didn't get the podcast room finished because wife's got me doing like last minute music videos and weird horror movie shorts. But as far as the gaming time that I did get in, always try to do my dailies on Forza Horizon 5. Loving the rumored news that I'm hearing for 6. We'll see. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they got the message from the community these past couple of years. So yeah, I think they know where we want to go and how we want it, kind of thing. So we'll fingers crossed, we'll see maybe at the Game Awards or Tokyo Game Show, which would be very fitting if the rumors are true. But yeah, like you said, Division 2, we got some good news during Gamescom from Ubisoft. They're doing Survivor 2.0. For any of those that enjoyed Survivor, I got more accustomed to it later on. Like in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get wiped out by the hunters and stuff. But after a while you get kind of used to what to, grab or what to craft and all that stuff. So it just becomes like a routine if you do the PvP, trying to figure out who's going to have the better build, or, just let the people get taken out by the hunters and then take out the hunters afterwards, kind of thing. But yeah, curious to see how it looks in DC with snow, the morning snow, or winter atmosphere for the game for a long time. And this is a awesome compromise to some extent. And then, like you said, Diablo 4. I don't know what made me hop back in. I don't know if it was Blue playing or if it was you that was playing at first. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it. I didn't even finish the previous season. So just hopping into this one, I like some of the added bonuses and things like that, although I haven't messed with the runes yet. So I have no clue on where to slot those or how to go about that. But like the fact that we now get to level 60 where you still get points before you go into the Paragon board and stuff. So those extra 10 definitely help, fortify what you're trying to build and stuff like that. But yeah, just having a lot of fun. That one dungeon we went to, it seemed like it was a never-ending dungeon. Like it was like, oh wait, we figured out this mechanic. Oh, it's another one, but it's lighter. Oh, it's another one, but darker. Exactly. Oh wait, you go around the corner, it looks like it continues on and on. So we gotta figure that one out. But yeah, man, it was a ton of fun. Just small complaint about the title thing being bugged now or whatever. But other than that, I finally got some higher than 750 drops from what do you call them, from what was it, Nightmare 1 or whatever. The
nice
it seems like you wind up having to really go and try to solo one of those bosses in the Helltide or something like that, and it seems to work out well there. Or I found a gold chest finally. So I don't know why they were so hidden last time we were running around. But for all of those that are, put down Diablo, it might be worthwhile getting back to it. I mean, they've definitely made the builds a lot, I wouldn't say easier, but you can play around with a lot of different things and enchantments and mix and match. Like I know I probably play it wrong where I do all one type of build where it's like either all fire for a sorcerer or all lightning, which I'm trying now, but I got it's working. So I'm pretty happy. I know in the beginning it wasn't working so well for me, but yeah, I'm liking where it's at now. But man, we got some stuff to get into. I'm rambling too much, so let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. So shout out to everybody watching live, man. Appreciate all of you guys as well, too. Once again, retweet that link. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. We got a lot to talk about, man. It's been a jam-packed week, and that's exactly what we're jumping into. All of the Gamescom stuff. It has been a phenomenal week. So I know it's funny, like we get these type of weeks, and I remember all of those times and those conversations we were having about all this negative stuff going on in gaming, just to be hit with a week like this one to remind us all that we're still out here all eating very, very good. So it's a lot going on, and we're just diving headfirst into the Gamescom stuff. So I'm gonna start with you, Mav, and there's gonna be a lot of, basically the whole show is about everything that happened this week for the most part. So I just want to get your overarching view. Just start there, Mav, on just the impression from Gamescom this week. All the different shows that happened this week. I just feel like for some reason, Mav, we got so much more news and information out of Gamescom this year than we have in previous years. And I'm interested to see if you guys are on the same wavelength as me. It felt like there was so much more to get caught up on, Mav.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say the same thing too, that this was like a really big and good Gamescom. I feel like it's kind of that perfect in between holiday season after summer showcase time to really kind of go out there and get some of your last either big reveals or things, updates in before the rush of games that are just going to be hitting like nonstop here the next few months, man. But yeah, there was some new game reveals, some cool smaller stuff. There was game updates like on ones that we've already been seeing, but they kind of dove deeper into them. And yeah, overall it seemed like a typical Gamescom with the kind of stuff that was there, but it just seemed like more of it.
Yeah.
There wasn't like this one big, huge, amazing new game that everybody's freaking out about, right? That's saved for like the summer showcase season, right?
VGA stuff like that.
Yeah, but there was some really cool stuff that I think some of the surprises that they had hit harder than expected. Like everybody's still talking about the Lego Batman game that was shown. And the more you see that, the cooler it looks, and like it seems like it's going to be actually like the first Lego game I might actually be excited about to play. I don't know, man. It's just like it seems like the Arkham game that was missing, but it's in Lego form, or something.
It's crazy,
you know what
right?
I mean?
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just kind of nuts, right? So there's that. Like, I thought there was some cool announcements that nobody else is talking about, like the new Warhammer RTS Dawn of War 4 is coming next year. We had shadow drops, like I just mentioned, Triangle Strategy. Just came out at Xbox and PlayStation, and that's an awesome game. I've been having a blast playing that. But there's been other things too, like we like Final Fantasy VII came out, and it's going to be Xbox Anywhere. Like that they're going, when Final Fantasy VII hits Xbox, it's going to be Xbox Anywhere. They just dropped that news, right? Which is awesome value for that. Like in Xbox ROG Ally X got the release date for October 16th. And I think the ROG Ally X has been or the Xbox, there's already a ROG Ally X, so I always have to make sure I put Xbox ROG Ally X on there, because like it seems like that's been dominating a lot of the conversation, but in a positive way. Actually, I see some trying to run with the downplaying about, it can't play console games natively and all this stuff, but like completely ignoring the fact that every Xbox first party game is Play Anywhere, and there's a crap ton of third party ones, so that those are native on PC also. So like there's been a lot of conversation about the ROG Ally that's been kind of dominating since Gamescom. But overall, it seemed like just maybe a little bit bigger than usual, It didn't have as many big new reveals or anything for me that like I would be,
I agree with that,
super pumped about. But overall it seemed like a pretty good one. I think that we're in store though for like the next couple months. It's just going to be really insane, especially with Game Pass. Like I made a post yesterday because I was on the Xbox PC app, and I just had to like a little screenshot snippet what I was looking at on the screen. I'm like, man, that lineup is insane, and that's just like the first party stuff. We're getting
been
Gears
that
of War
way
Reloaded,
a couple times this year. There's a couple months you could have took a snapshot of and been like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, it's been impressive all dang year, man. And I think, was it tomorrow or the next couple days or something, we're getting Gears of War.
Yep. Reloaded.
Yeah, and the Helldivers 2 is hitting Xbox. I mean, it's just, man, I don't know how to keep up with everything these days, dude. Like not even just playing stuff, but news wise, with the amount of games there are and the amount of games coming out, it's like it's just really actually hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
Like what all is happening, what all is coming out, like what updates are there for games? Like there's just, and in today's new, like, or the last couple days with the Forza stuff, like, man, like I'm getting pumped, man. I'm just getting pumped here thinking about it.
It's awesome, brother. Like it's, the funny thing is too, and just to highlight all of this too, Xbox is in a position to take advantage of everything that's happening. They had their hands in a lot of different cookie jars. Like you said, the Play Anywhere was really the highlight of Gamescom for me, right? Like a majority of those games were Play Anywhere. They wanted to make sure they put an emphasis on that when they were highlighting the handheld as well too. That's a huge deal. People don't talk about that enough. Everything. It was just, and like you said earlier, there was not a single like, oh my God, this particular game showed up and everybody's talking about this one game. There was just a lot of solid ass games, a lot of great games, big games, small games. There's some other games that a lot of people aren't really talking about. There was one in particular that I saw, that Project Bloomwalker, that kind of looked like a Studio Ghibli game. It ended up being kind of like this RPG, something like that, even like that I saw that really nobody's talking about, but it looks fucking phenomenal. not really a AAA game. I believe it's more like a AA, but just there's so much shit going on this week too, man. It was so good to see. And it's funny that this is a stark opposite end of the spectrum from where we were at a few months ago when people were talking about the price raise, man. If you see how fast things change, but Xbox is still in a position to take advantage of this. I would argue they're in a better spot now than they were when we were having that conversation, when we were having that debate about the price increase and things like that. Things aren't usually as bad as they feel like they're going to be sometimes.
Speaking of price raise, was something that got kind of buried.
There's that.
The PlayStation price increase. Yeah. That happened this week, but like they did it at that time, knowing the other, news was going to kind of overtake, overshadow it a little bit. So but they had their price increase too. And I think more than anything, what that made me think about is the Series S, because there was for a little while the Series S price got close to a PS5, the digital, right? So like if you're making that decision going to a store and you're like, okay, do I get a Series S or PS5 digital? Well, $20 difference. You know what I mean? You're probably going to go with the PS5 at that point because it's just more powerful than a Series S, right? But now you're going into like next gen or current gen stuff is going to keep dropping. Like the sports games are starting to become that. The GTA 6 is coming out next year. And now the Series S is, unless they price increase it again, will be a good like $120 or so less than the PS5. So it's by far going to be the lowest entry point into grabbing something to play all these next gen games with. So it made me think about the Series S when that PS5 price increase happened, because it just became that much more valuable again.
And don't forget, we got all these developers finding hidden power all of a sudden a year later. They're finding out, look at all of this extra power we didn't know about a year before. Yeah, so there's always that too. 3-bit, you know about that, right? You're aware of that. You know exactly
games,
what I'm talking about.
They wouldn't have to take years to figure out how to optimize to put a game on the Series S. They wouldn't actually have to do that. No.
It's insane. It's how we talked about that a long time ago before the developers of Wukong was saying how it was impossible. And they're saying the Series S was trash.
Years to optimize for the S.
And then perfectly like a year later, like, I guess you figured it out.
We found
that contract. They figured it out in the contract.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's perfect segue to you two, 3-bit as well too. But just once again, Mav made a lot of great points. It was just a consistently great show, man. It was a lot of information this week. I know we're missing a bunch of shit, but I guess we'll get into the highlights here. But just overarching, what do you think of just the event overall? All the news this week, from the Xbox show to opening night live. You even had some other shows that like people might have forgot. There was a future game show sandwiched in there as well too that maybe some people might have missed. There was just so much news this week. So what would you think? What did you just think about the overall Gamescom show?
It was dope, man. There's a lot like you guys are kind of mentioning. There's like snippets of things you can kind of take away from it. There wasn't like a single game for me to focus on. There was definitely highlights in my brain where I'm like, I would love to play like the new Lego Batman. Like I that actually surprised me coming out of this show. Like that made a big splash for me personally, just because it seems like it's a blend of what I've been wanting to see from a Batman game in quite some time. You had a lot of Arkham elements with the combat, but it seemed like how he was driving around, and I don't know, it just did some cool things I've been waiting for in a Batman game in some time. So that was awesome. There was also Blood of Dawnwalker. Like for me, it had a mix of like The Witcher with like its lore and kind of world building, but also For Honor. It kind of reminded me of with like the sword combat a little bit, like how they were able to like you can like kind of flick the button up if you're blocking, and I don't know, it just looked interesting, and the combat reminded me of For Honor, which I haven't seen a lot of games go to that For Honor kind of fighting style. Usually they'll go more towards Arkham or adapt to kind of like a hybrid between those two. So that looked super interesting. There was like Cinder City. That one looked okay, but like, because I'm looking at the list right now because I kind of forgot which games it was there. Cinder City.
It was a lot. So
to me, it did remind me of the Division. Like I remember when that was coming up, and I was like, oh, I wonder what Fuzzy thinks about this game, because it had like kind of Division vibes to me, but that looked super interesting. So yeah, there was like some takeaways. They had a moment where they was going through the ROG Ally X as well, and I don't have a Steam Deck, or I don't have I have a Switch. That's my only really handheld device. So I've been really eyeballing the ROG Ally as like my next sort of handheld device, and it's looking really good. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to get the cheaper option, the 500. I want to go straight for the more expensive one, but ooh, that's gonna hit my pocket. So I gotta I gotta figure that out. But overall, great show, man. I think, like Mav was saying, it kind of fits in this bubble of like, you already had the major showcases kind of happen earlier, and it fits in this bucket where people are like just settling from those shows, like, okay, well, what's kind of next? And then bam, Gamescom. So a lot of like just amazing games that are popping up here that I'm definitely going to buy. I know they mentioned like other games like Halloween and some other stuff too.
Yep.
So yeah, overall, I'm definitely hyped to dive deeper into these games, because I know a lot of they release a lot of gameplay clips for quite a bit of these games.
Yeah.
So I definitely got to go back and just just go in Gamers Christmas and see what developer interviews are out there. But super good.
Awesome. Same, man. It's so me and Pong Fuzz been talking about this, man. I feel the same way. There was so many 3-bit that I had a hard time keeping up with the trailers, with the amount of information that came out, brother. And like you said, there wasn't some super major announcement to just kind of, everybody stop and pay attention, but there was a lot of great announcements. Like you said, it was just a ton of high quality stuff, like you said, from the handheld all the way to the games to new trailers. It's been a while since I've seen that many new trailers. A lot of games that I never heard of, a lot of games that I completely forgot about as well, 3-bit. Like, we got new information on Replaced.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And Crimson Desert, they showed more gameplay of that. And I was kind of interested in it before, because Steele would always mention it. I'm like, oh yeah, like he really likes those developers. But I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I checked out the gameplay, and I'm like, ooh, this wasn't on my radar before, but wow.
I'm surprised it wasn't on your radar. We've been talking about it forever since we first saw it. Yeah, man. I'm surprised it's just hitting your radar now. Yeah, that's crazy. But no, better late than never. Better late than never, brother. So let me go ahead and throw this over to. Yeah, no worries. Let me go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. Just get your quick opinion on just the show. I know you probably already talked about it, and we're going to get into the more specific stuff, because I do have specific questions that I want to ask each of you individuals. But just kind of your overarching thoughts on the show, man. It was a lot of news this week. I was telling Mav that I don't recall it being this much news coming out of Gamescom. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it just feels like there's more that happened this week, or I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't even watched the Future Game Show yet. So
me neither.
Yeah, no, I've been, man. This week was terrible. I did get to watch, obviously Gamescom, opening night live, obviously with Keeley. So I did get to watch that, but otherwise, yeah, it was more just picking up the news. I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that, Grand Theft Auto is now for sure next year, right? There was a lot, we kind of knew there was a pause in the industry, in a lot of ways on announcements for later this year, until 2K solidified what they were doing Grand Theft Auto. So I think that's kind of what you're feeling here, is a culmination of a lot of people that have just been kind of sitting around waiting and they finally got their opportunity to say, hey, we're coming out by the end of this year, or we're coming out early next year. Yeah. Or we're coming out early next year before Grand Theft Auto hits in the summer, right? So I think that's what a lot of this was. A lot of these announcements. The big thing is that there wasn't anything massive here. We've had so much from the AAA space over the past 2 years, right? It's crazy. And obviously Xbox, has announced so much as well. And we've got, more coming this year with Outer Worlds 2, et cetera. So, that part of it, I wasn't necessarily shocked at. It's just kind of, again, the Keeleys to me, this is the first time I've had a show where it was more disappointing to me than not. I still came out of it with a handful of games, but it just wasn't good. I just didn't like the opening night live at all. And so, I think that's just, like I said, the past 2 years have been so monolithic that, this year is going to be massive. Next year is going to be massive, but a lot of the announcements are already out there. But the updates to a lot of games, the surprises that we did get, like Triangle Strategy, which Mav is now playing, shadow dropping from Square Enix onto Xbox as a Play Anywhere title, having Final Fantasy VII remake come out as a Play Anywhere title, those kinds of things. Dawn of War 4, as Mav already said as well, surprise a lot of people. We just got number 2 remastered, which a lot of people were super excited for, myself included, but a lot of people didn't think Dawn of War 4 was going to happen, and sure enough, it shows up here. Warhammer's on an absolute tear right now. Exactly. And then we got updates on a lot of games too, like The Expanse. I don't know if you guys have seen the updates on The Expanse, the previews.
Amazing.
Yo, I got
amazing,
Steel.
Man.
Steele's going to start watching the show. I convinced him. I went through 2.5 seasons of it a while back. I'm going to hop back into it, but I've convinced him to watch the show, and he is pretty much all in on this game too, because it looks so much like a heavy narrative Mass Effect, right? With a lot of decisions to be made, but the man, it's just hitting all the right notes. So updates like that, Ninja Gaiden 4 continues to look fantastic, right? Replaced, the previews coming out of Replaced now. Again, we've been waiting on this.
Pone, I'm hearing people talking about some crazy stuff here, talking about like Game of the Year type stuff.
I listened to that. I did listen to some clips from that, and there are people saying that if it sticks the landing here next year, it is going to be in Game of the Year conversations for sure, just from the little snippets they got to play, because it's hitting everything. They're saying the story, the graphics, the music, the atmosphere, and then you throw in Arkham style combat on top of it. Oh, yeah. So overall, again, I know you wanted to get some specifics, but I just, I think overall it has been a lot of information, and obviously this is always what we love. Again, games, and I like AA and indie scene stuff, so we're getting a ton more from there, and this is coming right off the heels. Let's be real too. The industry's kind of charged right now because of the Battlefield 6 beta. And people are excited that Battlefield is back in a lot of ways. And I know that sounds weird. And of course, it's coming from an extremely biased point of view because I love Battlefield so much. But you could sense it. That beta was so damn good. People are still talking about it, and people are missing it. And people are just excited to have a game alongside Call of Duty for once to go to as something different, which we haven't had in a long time. So that kind of all led, I think that energy filtered into Gamescom this week as well, where people were really just excited to talk games again and all this news. And again, I can't stress enough too. I think people, it's hard to see sometimes from the inside when, to see the trees from the forest, but Helldivers 2 and Halo ODST, that has got to, again, it's not, I've already played it, and I'm not that, I love ODST, but it's not like this does much for me. But in general, people are freaking excited on all sides for this combo. Like, to me,
that's
sides.
How you say hello to a new platform. That's how you show up and say hello. You show up with a welcoming gift, and that's a hell of a welcoming gift to Xbox to be doing a ODST collab.
Yeah, and Arrowhead had screwed up their Killzone collab because they had locked it behind, and then they had, it was a limited time thing, and it was an ultra expensive battle pass, and they've actually come out now and said they're going to redo the Killzone. They're trying to figure out how they're going to refund everybody that originally purchased it on the Sony side, and try to figure out how they can get do it over again and offer everybody a chance to continuously earn the Killzone stuff too as well. So again, I just think that kind of collabs also spark energy, man. And I think that one was a part of this as well. So yeah, just a good overall week, a really great overall week with an already awesome year. And really next year is filling up. next year, and we talked about, we knew this was going to happen.
We knew that, yeah.
Even
man.
take
We've
out
been kicking the can
GTA.
down the road.
Take out GTA, and we still knew we were going to have a stupendous year on paper lined up, and now a lot of that is filling in. And that's what we all love, man. That's why we're here, especially me. I love this shit, again, because I do enjoy the AA and the indie scene space so much. There's so much for me right now, and it's insane because I don't have time. So I'm just looking at all this stuff going, yeah, I got about 3 years of games lined up for me over the next 6, 8, 12 months here. So we're good.
Oh, yeah, we stacked. Shout out to Adidas Zero as well, too, for the $2 super chat. Salute everyone. Salute you, Adidas. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for supporting the podcast as well, man. But yeah, you're right, Pong. And that's the big thing, too. And I think all of us have said it thus far, is that, like, this just felt like the perfect amount of information. It just felt like the perfect time to have this type of show. No, not one gigantic announcement that takes all the attention, but a lot of great announcements just to really cap off a phenomenal year, because we were getting a little crazy there. I'm not going to lie. 2022 was like, it's 2022. 2025 has been a phenomenal year, but people were getting a little sidetracked with some of the things that were going on. And this is a great show to really remind everybody just how good the year's actually been. Because some people get a little sidetracked about price increases and layoffs and things that happen. And these things are pretty normal in the industry when you think about them. But some people get a little sidelined. And so it's nice to have this kind of an event. Like you said, Pong, it's in a perfect spot. Everybody's kind of coming down from the showcases this summer, kind of waiting on that transition to happen in the fall. And this is perfect. And it was a perfect amount of information, a ton of games that we still need to know more about. So I want to transition over to you, Fuzz, get your opinion. Like we've all said, it was a fuck ton of information from handheld stuff, every platform, got a little bit of something. There was a ton of different type of games, genres, as well as large, small. This is really for everybody, brother.
Oh yeah. I could just say, hey, Silk Song got a release date, and that's the end of the show. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was a nice one, especially like, and I've said this before, that's a game that will fit nicely on a handheld device. Like, I think my Metrovania love of games, and even some of my roguelite love of games, came after I got a Steam Deck. So having the device and a game like Silksong come out, a month or so before the actual device is released. But for those that already have, whether it's a Legion Go or, a Steam Deck or MSI Claw, any of those, that game is going to definitely be, one of those beloved games, and probably in the mention for Game of the Year as well, just because of the anticipation for it and whatnot. But aside from that, the handheld device, the only small side note, no price just yet. I mean, there were some leaks, and at least, especially for the lower price one, I hope that price is accurate, because $549 is about $50 lower than what I figured best case would be for that thing, considering it is a better device than the basic Steam Deck. So I was kind of expecting that thing could go up to 700, but the fact that it's under 600 out the gate, that's pretty cool. Now we'll see if whatever influenced PS5 to raise prices might cause that price to go up, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. If the $900 price or $899 price is accurate for the Ally X, then it is what it is. It's a great piece of kit for any of those on the fence of wanting to dip their toes into PC from console. That's the best blend of the lines, or blur of the lines, that you can get right out the box kind of deal. Sure, it won't play your console games that you have from your 360, with certain exceptions of first party stuff and some of those that were dual entitlement shortly after type of deal. But all in all, having 1,000+ games that will work on that device and more than likely be certified, and they're going to probably do the same certification type of deal as a Steam Deck, where it's like perfectly functional, text might be small or things like that even with those caveats, you can adjust in menu and stuff along those lines in a lot of cases. But for anybody that was looking forward to that device, and I tried to make it clear, like even on Boom Show, I'm like, the one in white is no slouch. Like, it is. I mean, I know people are referring to it as like the S model, and a lot of people have a certain stink about the S or whatever. I don't know why, because I use that as my travel Xbox and works perfectly fine. And I know there's a lot of people that will say, oh, the devs don't like it, and that's because the devs that don't like it aren't really using the tools or willing to change from the normal setup that they would do for PlayStation for both PS4 and 5 to something that's more in tune with what you should do for PC for optimization. But I'm not a dev, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But yeah, that device, they gave more details and a lot of the features and the continuous support and updates that they're going to give that thing. I would say probably by next generation, the playing console games natively might be a thing, or at least from an emulation standpoint. But I'm not going to guarantee that, but I would say, at least from a first party standpoint, I would not be surprised if that's the case for any of those that didn't get the Play Anywhere or dual entitlement treatment already. Outside of that, for games, I'm on like this sci-fi kick and horror kick all in one. So there were two pretty big standout games. One of them we saw from like the summer showcase. I think it was it Chronos?
New Dawn.
Looking forward to that with the time travel aspect and everything to it. I like Bloober Team. I know people gave them guff about like Blair Witch and Medium and stuff like that. I like their stuff.
Xbox just cut the deal too early with them. They should have waited a couple more games, because all of a sudden, they're starting to look like close to a AAA developer with some of this stuff. So anyway, sorry. I had to say that because I thought it was funny. Just a little early again. Xbox is just a little early again.
They're always
for that
doing that
That's
stuff.
hilarious.
Whether it's hardware or software, it always seems like they're ahead of the curve before we even know that they're ahead of the curve, kind of thing. Like people, gave them guff about the TV, and most people stream Netflix and Prime Video on their consoles. So it's like, maybe they should wait a little bit longer, but I like them being ahead of the curve because it brings new things to this industry and stuff. But Chronos, definitely one of my highlights of Gamescom. Another one, Routine, which I think we saw at like a Dev Direct a while back, or maybe it was like an ID at Xbox thing. Really looking forward to the, basically, I guess, robots haunting you in some sort of compound that you have to escape. Looking forward to that one as well. But outside of like Xbox or Keeley's show, which I got a shout out to Boom with the whole He-Man thing. Like that's, growing up, like in Pong, you'll appreciate this as well. Growing up watching, Saturday morning cartoons in the 80s and stuff like that, and now having a side scroller beat 'em up of He-Man, it's about time. Like we need one for Thundercats. I'm still waiting on the one for Toxic Avenger, and then I think there's like a Jay and Silent Bob one. But yeah, they also need to do like a Simpsons one or something on those lines. But it's so cool that we're still seeing some of these, childhood memories come back as like side scroll beat 'em ups and things like that. So really enjoyed that, seeing that title. Another title that is a little bit on the old side, but they got some updated news, which, me and Blam talked about a little bit earlier, was the whole Division stuff, where Ubisoft making their announcements on a variety of games, but I mainly focused on just what they were talking about for the Division, their continued season support, which I know if COG is listening, I know you were a Destiny stan and gave all that smoke to Division. How's it looking now? But all things aside, yeah, we got another season coming up. Well, actually, another 2 seasons coming up. I'm curious to see what how Mutiny plays out with the details they gave on that, and then the Survivor stuff that they're going to have in DC. Like I said earlier, if anybody's played it on Division 1, it was a bit rough, a pretty steep learning curve, although I think that was the original Division that they were looking to do, where the different clothing, like the beanie caps and down jackets and stuff, were going to really come into effect or be crucial in your character surviving the winter and stuff. But I'm glad that they're bringing it to DC as well. I've always wanted snow for this DC map, and even though they couldn't do seasons like Forza Horizon, I'm just glad that they're doing this. And this is one of those things where a lot of the fans from Division 1 were saying this should have been something that they carried over from day one, for the Division 2, having that mode available. I think that would have probably kept a lot of Division 1 fans into 2, because a lot of people played 2 and then they were like, you know what, I'm just going to play Survivor on Division 1. And then I wouldn't say they're stuck over there, but they're playing more regularly over there for Survivor as opposed to Division 2 and stuff. But they got a ton of content coming to the thing. Some new modes and I forget what they call it, but like different types of adjusters for the maps and things like that, or different modes and things. Definitely looking forward to it. But there was just so much stuff. I mean, everything from updates on Flight Sim to like Pong was saying, updates on the Expanse, which that's another sci-fi one I'm looking forward to as well. There was a ton of stuff, and I haven't even watched the Future Game Show yet either, so I'm definitely missing out on some stuff. But yeah, like what even what 3-Bit was saying earlier, was that Cinder City. I didn't even I must have completely missed or fast forwarded past that. Now I'm kind of kicking myself for it, but that looks pretty cool as well. There was just a ton of games. Like it may not be like the Christmas feel as far as for gamers, but it's pretty close as far as I'm concerned. There was something for everybody, and more than a handful of stuff that I'm looking forward to. So I'm pretty happy with the whole show, the whole week of stuff. And maybe one of these days I'll fly out there. I doubt it, because I'm afraid of flying with planes crashing more recently. But it is what it is.
All right. Well, shit. I mean, listen, I got a question for you guys too. So I know we've been talking about just the overall show, and this is well for you too, chat. I need to know everybody's top 3 games. So I kind of already been putting mine together, so I'm cheating here because I'm the only one that had the question. Sorry. So but I guess I'll go ahead and just get started with my top 3 games of the show, since it was so much. I guess in no particular, I guess in particular order for me. So I guess the first one would have to be the Lego Batman. I believe that was the most refreshing surprise for me. I always love the Lego games. I have all the Lego games. Like, I don't care which one it is. They're always on sale. I buy them every single chance that I get. So I own just about every single one of them that I can think of at this point. And I'm definitely adding this to the collection. Glad to see Telltale step up to where Rocksteady necessarily didn't want to, or for whatever reason, they couldn't make this specific type of game anymore. They weren't able to, but glad to see them step up. I guess the second one would have been, I don't think anybody's mentioned this, that John Carpenter game, the Toxic Commando game, that co-op first person kind of 80s shooter. That game looks fucking amazing, dude. It looks amazing. It looks so good. It looks so fun, between the powers and abilities and just that 80s nostalgia. The dialogue, everything just looks so well written out, and I'm super excited. And I'm a big co-op fan myself too. And that third one, I had to kind of toggle between which one I wanted to pick for my third option. But honestly, it probably would be between Chronos, because I'm a big fan. I just love the way the game looks, as well as, what was the other game? I think, it might have been The Expanse. The Expanse looked phenomenal too. So probably between those two for that third slot for me. So let me throw this over to you, Mav. Your top 3 games from Gamescom, brother. I know there was a ton, so it's kind of probably difficult to narrow them down, but
yeah, man. So I'd put the Lego Batman in there.
Okay.
Mainly because everything I've been seeing after. I would say the Warhammer Dawn of War 4. Man. This is the tough thing, because like it's like the ones that stood out the most for me are like ones I've seen so many times already. You know what I mean?
It's okay. Yeah,
so
it's
it's like, does it, like, what is it? Does it? So I'll say Outer Worlds 2 again.
Okay.
Yeah, because just every time I see that game, I look like, wow, how come this game doesn't have a lot more hype behind it from a lot of people? Because this looks so freaking good, man. Like it does. Like it looks like everything Outer Worlds 1 was, but just like on a much bigger budget and
I
like
hope
more
people don't sleep on that game, brother.
all
There's
that
no
kind of
way
stuff.
people can sleep on 2 Obsidian IPs in the same year, bro. Like there's no way. I hope people don't sleep on Outer Worlds 2 and really give it a fair shot. I mean, you got to earn whatever, goodwill you get, but I really think
never a big game.
No, I know.
I
that.
loved
know,
it. It's just not a big IP. It took them, 5 years
They're
to
just
get
so
to
fucking
8
talented, though, man.
Yeah. But again, Avowed wasn't all that for a lot of people.
Yeah,
for a variety of different reasons. Right. Yeah. I'm just saying that it should be Outer Worlds 2 should be getting a lot of hype right now, because especially from the RPG side of things, because they are leaning heavy into the RPG side. It is looking phenomenal. And the gunplay, I was watching that and I was like, this is looking like they went to Bethesda and said, what'd you guys do for Starfield? That's how good it's looking, which is really weird for an Obsidian game to see that type of gunplay. I am super over the moon. It was critically received extremely well. It had pretty long legs. It just wasn't ever a big IP. So expectations, got to keep them in check for the Outer Worlds 2. But I think a lot more people are going to try it.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's indicative. Yeah, that's not, and you're not saying, because that's not indicative of the actual quality of the game.
No, like I said, I love Outer Worlds. I love it. I can't wait for number 2. I'm just saying, in general, that's why you just don't see the hype, because there just was never a massive fan base for the first one. There just really wasn't. So, but this one could catch people off guard, and streamers, you never know nowadays. Could become the next hot thing. We'll see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. My bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think Outer Worlds 2 has a chance to make a bigger statement than the first game did, just because I think it'll have more legs, right? Like with it being a bigger game. I don't think it's going to be an enormous game, but I think it's going to be substantially bigger than the first one. And with the polish and everything they look like is behind it, I think it's going to stand out. I was trying to decide between that and Ninja Gaiden 4, right, for my other game, because
it's a good one. Yeah, I forgot.
Both of those just look so good, man. But I've seen them so many times now. It's like that's kind of what Gamescom was for me. The games that I'm most excited for, I've seen 10 times at this point, and just ready for them to release, and they're all releasing soon. So I think that the more so than just the games that stood out was just kind of like the little surprise drops. Like I would put Triangle Strategy on there just because it just randomly released on Xbox and PlayStation, like a shadow drop, which was really, really freaking cool. But that's a game that's been out for a couple years, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to throw that in there. But that's what I've been playing the last couple days. So but yeah, overall, yeah, I think those are my 3 for sure.
Okay. All right. 3-bit. On to you, brother. You had a little time to think, 3-bit. A little time to take a look at the list. Google whatever you needed to Google. But yeah, we're top 3 games, 3-bit.
Yeah, I forgot about Replace till Pong mentioned it earlier. But yeah, I've been waiting for Replace for quite some time. And the thing about Replaced is it's a replacement of another game I've been waiting for, which was the Last Night.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
It's been replacing the Last Night, because I don't know where that game is in development or what's going on there, but that game is looking solid. I like the camera work, like when you're hitting people, and how it's this blend hybrid of 2D and 3D, and how they're able to blend that in with like the cinematics as well. Like the camera can sometimes rotate during emotional moments, which is just dope. So Replace is definitely on the list. Then Lego Batman, listen,
dude.
again,
I think that was the biggest surprise. I don't think people don't take the Telltale games very serious. I mean, because let's be honest, a lot of them were very childlike, right? You would kind of, akin those to a younger generation, teenagers, things like that. But this one is literally everything we've ever asked for in a Batman game. It's just Legos. And it might even be better. It might even be better than what we've been asking for, just from what I've seen.
And what's interesting about it, because what you guys are kind of talking about with Telltale and what Rockstar, all these developers that worked on Batman before, it's like with Suicide Squad, that was interesting, right? Because I actually like Suicide Squad. I know a lot of people didn't. It was kind of being hammered by the media at the time, for not being a Batman game, with Rocksteady. And I don't know. I think they were forced to make that specific game at the time, and they probably did want to make a game like this. So I'm looking forward to their vision for what a Lego Batman game is going to be, which is insane. Like, I do like Lego games, but usually I'm like, okay, I'll wait for it on sale or something like that. This is something I might actually pick up on day one, so we'll have to see. But Lego Batman is definitely up there. And then this third one was kind of difficult because there's just so many games that I'm kind of looking forward to. But I have a third one, but I have some weird honorable mentions. Where it's like Blood of Dawnwalker. To me, it just looks interesting. Like, I've been waiting for a good vampire game. Like, Xbox tried it. It didn't work out. Vampire Bloodlines and stuff like that. There's been some decent ones, and then Blade is coming up. So I hope this is the start of many good vampire games. But Blood of Dawnwalker just looked interesting. It looked like a really good mix of Witcher and, like I was saying earlier, like a good mixture of like Witcher and a couple other, like For Honor and things like that. So looks pretty dope. I like how you can like walk on walls and stuff. Like at nighttime, you get like different abilities and like, ooh, okay. So they're definitely amping up what I want to see for that game. But there was also like other mini ones like Swords of Legends. Like, I don't typically like Souls-like games, but for some reason, the style of that game looks pretty cool. Like, they have these flower-like enemies for their heads and stuff, and they were like fighting in water. It's very like Black Myth. Wukong kind of is seemingly introducing, or they're not probably not doing it, but it is interesting to see a lot more games from the East, and I'm looking forward to what other developers are coming from Korea, China, all these other studios that usually only release in those districts and regions, and now they're starting to come here, and there's a lot of talent in a lot of those places. So Swords of Legends is definitely up there. Fortnite, Squid Game, believe it or not, like that looks really fun. Every time I play Fortnite, I'm just like having a blast. Now and then the last one, this is just for me. Like, I love Shenmue as a franchise, and that's coming to other platforms. So I know it didn't get great reviews, but I'm interested in checking it out. So just a couple, like I would say Blood of Dawnwalker would be my third one, but there's a couple of other honorable mentions, which I'm sure I'm gonna change my mind once other people talk, but those are the main ones.
No. Once again, and I don't know if, and like I said, nobody, and I didn't get a chance to mention it either. The other one that I had just mentioned, Project, who was it? Project Blood Walker. Let me see. What the hell? Bloom Walker. Did you get to see that one, 3-bit? The one that looks like kind of like Studio Ghibli.
Oh no, I don't remember.
It's like an RPG.
What's it called?
Yeah, check it out. Project Bloom Walker. It looks interesting. Looks interesting. Very interesting game. Check it out, man. If you didn't get a chance to see it, might be something that you enjoy. But yeah, let me throw this over to Poem. Get your opinion, your top 3 games, Poem. That was a lot. You've heard three different lists at this point, bro. There was so many different games, so I need to know what is your top 3 coming out of this Gamescom this week.
Yeah, so gonna try to go different than everybody, but it's gonna be kind of a mixed match. Well, I got one that's way different. So, anyways, top 3. Well, I have to go with Mav with Dawn of War 4. Again, as an RTS fan, one of the greats, coming back with a new version, and it looks phenomenal. And again, an announcement that not everybody thought was going to happen. Warhammer's just crushing right now. So, Dawn of War 4 is up there. Toxic Commando, you mentioned it, PTK.
So
a lot of people, man, was underwhelmed. A lot of people were underwhelmed. I personally was like, yo, I'm all in. Like, I enjoyed the characters. That is the same team that does World War Z. So the amount and that engine, obviously we just saw it in Space Marine 2. So you know the amount of enemies that can be on the screen in hordes at one time. This is a combination of, of World War Z and Left 4 Dead. And I know that Back 4 Blood was supposed to be the next Left 4 Dead, and it turned out to not be. But you guys also know that I mentioned here that I've re-downloaded that, and I've actually been playing it over the past month and a half, enjoying the hell out of it, just by myself as a solo player. But I see Toxic Commando, and I see something really creative here. And I think this looks fun as fuck, and I'm hoping that it's going to turn out to be what people thought, Back 4 Blood was going to be. So I am excited about that. I loved how it showed. I've got other ones like Project Spectrum, which is coming from the Delta Force team. That co-op horror.
PvE, I think.
Yeah. Again, I'm not the horror dude, but you give me modern military weapons, you give me some co-op buddies. Maybe I could pull that one off. It's early, but I like what I'm seeing out of that one. Cinder City, 3-Bit brought that up. Really hit me home for me too. Got to see how that comes together as an MMO, etc. So those are a couple of games, but the one I'll mention here, and it's not going to be one that most people even think of or even remember, but it's Zero Parades. And this is coming from Zaum. This is the former studio that did Disco Elysium, that won a bunch of Game of the Year. This is CRPG territory. That's why people won't remember it. And also, it's not being covered heavily because, if you guys remember, there was a whole lot of inner turmoil after Disco Elysium launched, and basically the heads fired everybody at that studio. So this is basically a new studio with the same name trying to create the same type of game. Another CRPG, narrative heavy, decision consequence heavy, but this is going to be based on espionage. Okay, anytime you get espionage, anytime you get spy shit, I'm all in. Again, underutilized in my opinion across all video games, and loved Disco Elysium, want to get back to it in fact, and I know it's a brand new team. We don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. They got a mountain to climb because everybody and their brothers, mothers, sisters, cousins are going to compare it to Disco Elysium. However, from the early look of it, it's intriguing as hell to me. So I'm looking forward to Zero Parades and seeing where that one goes as well. There's Arknights Einfeld as well, which is a gacha game. I know, everybody, again, go look at gacha games right now. They're AAA quality shit. But this one has RTS, resources, and tower defense mixed in with it as well. Looks interesting. That was on my list. And then Voidbreaker, a Doom-like first-person roguelike set in a cyberpunk bright neon type world that just looks phenomenal, man. There's a lot of these games on PC. This one is coming everywhere, so I'm keeping my eye on Voidbreaker as well.
Oh man, game looks great. Okay, all right, good list. All right, Fuzz, you've had time to kind of get your list together and listen to everybody else listen. But once again, a lot of variety there, man. A lot of games, a couple games that Pong mentioned that I hadn't seen. I just actually, I'm actively, as you guys are talking, looking at all of these trailers of these games because I know we all miss so many. But your top 3 games, brothers, as best as you can.
I kind of talked about 2 of them earlier. Chronos is that game for me, as well as Routine. Those 2 are the bigger standouts just because I'm on that sci-fi horror kick right now. I missed whatever one Pong was just talking about that was like a co-op horror kind of.
Oh yeah, Project Spectrum. You gotta go look that up. Yeah. Delta Force devs are doing it. Yeah, it's looking good. Oh, it's looking good.
But there's one only because I'm still also on those fighters, Invincible Versus. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Those 3 were like my standout for now. Things will probably change. Like I said, I've missed some of the videos for some of the ones you guys have mentioned. But yeah, I have a soft spot for fighters, whether it's Street Fighter, whether it's King of Fighters, or even Mortal Kombat. Although I haven't picked up Mortal Kombat 1 yet, but I probably should do that here soon. But Invincible Versus is going to be that game I'm probably going to give a try just for the the sheer brutality in that game. I mean, sure, there's Ninja Gaiden for brutality as well, but just being able to punch somebody through the ground kind of thing, or turn them into chopped meat or hamburger from air punches and stuff like that seems pretty cool. But the sci-fi horror stuff with Routine and Chronos, I'm definitely looking forward to those. So those are my top 3, but there were a lot of good ones. Like I had mentioned, the He-Man one. I know that may sound silly to most, but as a beat 'em up fan, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Yeah, I'll just leave with Chronos and Routine and Invincible Versus, and that'll be my 3.
Awesome. Okay, so once again, like I said, there's in chat, let us know too your top 3 games at Gamescom. There was so many goddamn games that we saw coming out of Gamescom. It was so stacked, so many trailers that I still haven't watched as well too. But that was a great topic, man. So once again, chat, we're just talking about Gamescom all show today, man. It was such a great time. So I got to know something else too about the show. Now we went over our top 3 games as well too, but I'm gonna start with you on this one, Mav, again, since you're our guest as well too. But coming out of that show, just kind of where you at overall with gaming, based on the type of year 2025 has been. Because like I said before, I think this week kind of signified a lot of things for me. There was no gigantic, like you guys mentioned, there was no gigantic releases to kind of draw everyone's attention. There were no like gigantic games that released, but it was a great show and it was consistent. A lot of news, a lot of information. So kind of where does this put as far as perspective for you, Mav, as far as where the industry is at? Because like I said before, if you would have asked people or the energy around gaming 3 months ago, a lot of people were in a negative space. A lot of people felt like, oh, well, game is never going to be the same. Prices are going up. All this other stuff is going on that's negative. Just to in 3 months look at the industry and say, wow, we're almost overloaded. We still have too much to play, even amongst all of the negativity and everything going on. So I don't know if Gamescom did anything to highlight that for you, but just kind of coming out of Gamescom, Mav, where you at just overall?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of positive conversation coming out of it. I think that last couple years have been real interesting with conversation with gaming, whereas like it's dominated by concern and worry and doom and gloom situations and stuff. But like we've been in this like transition, where things are changing and we're actually kind of getting to the place a lot sooner than a lot of us thought we would, but eventually where we thought gaming would go. But it's just happening sooner than we thought, and I think that's a little soon for some people that are traditionalists and it's hard to swallow, that the brands are kind of doing things differently than they have in the past. So it's been a lot of negativity with that. But on the flip side, now that things have already started been rolling like that, when these announcements happen, like Helldivers 2 announcement with the crossover and other things, you're starting to see excitement about the changes in gaming and about how things are different now. And like the Xbox ROG Ally, we see the people there at the showcase talking about how good the UI is and how awesome it is to be able to see all your games from all your different storefronts in your library and all these different things. And all these things are possible because of the directions that they're going, right? And you're starting to see a lot of positivity about it. So in general, like it's always going to be like this ups and downs thing. Like we could have had 2 weeks of just nonstop bashing and worried about the game industry when PlayStation just raised their prices, right? But there wasn't a lot of conversation about that at all, right? Because I think everybody's focused on the amount of games that we have. The other interesting thing that I think this year there's a shit ton of awesome games to play, really great games, really good games, right? But this year doesn't have the games, You know what I mean? It's like this year doesn't
rub
have
some people the wrong way, man.
no, like this year doesn't have like the
I know what you're
GTAs.
talking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Doesn't have like you know, now Gears of War Reloaded is a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as Gears of War E-Day, right? You know, Forza Horizon 6 may happen next year. You know, Fable maybe next year. You know, like next year is kind of the year of like the bigger heavy hitters, right? Yeah, possibly even a Halo next year too, right? So like next year has like, I think, the games, but this year has a lot of awesome, great games, right? So it's interesting seeing how excited everybody is this year for all these games that we're getting that aren't necessarily those like, you know, the biggest games out there, right? I'll say probably as far as like franchises go, the biggest sequel people are excited for platform exclusives and stuff like that is probably Ghost of Yotei. And it had a showing, but I kind of do sense a lack of excitement around Yotei for some reason. I don't know if anybody else. So? I don't know if anybody else here gets that too, but like, I expected the sequel to Tsushima be like the most hyped thing ever for PlayStation because like everybody loves Tsushima, right? Xbox guys that had a PlayStation were praising Tsushima, you know, but now we got Yotei and it's like nobody's really talking about it. It's kind of interesting. It was there at the show and it's kind of like, oh, here's Ghost of Yotei.
Well, it's been shown a few times now as well too. It's been shown a handful of times
but
now
too. I
and
see more excitement for some of these other games than I do Yotei. Like I don't know, man. Like Ninja Gaiden 4, I thought has just as good a response as that.
I mean, I'm definitely more hype for Helldivers too.
Yeah,
you think so, 3-bit? You don't? So you agree? You don't think there's a whole lot of hype around Yotei either?
I kind of agree with Mav. Yeah, but maybe that's just I don't know.
I think it's like maybe everybody's just accepted that I'm gonna buy it, and it's just like it is what it is, and there's just no point in even talking about it or being excited for it.
To be fair, too, there was a freshness to Tsushima as well, too, right? We hadn't had a game like that in a while. I think we've got a ton of like ninja samurai games since then, so maybe this isn't sticking out as much as the previous one. Because think about when Tsushima came out, there wasn't really anything out like there was no Ninja Gaiden, there was no Black Myth at that point. There was none of those types of games. Oh no, they're not the same kind of game, but maybe people just aren't as, you know, I don't know. I don't really even know why.
Maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows kind of took its thunder.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows.
I don't know. That's not even.
Well, it's a different layout, but the cool thing about Yotei is that they added a lot of new weapons, but all of those new weapons were the ones that appeared in Shadows. So it's like, I think that may have stole some of the thunder to some extent. There was a female character also in Shadows. That seem a lot more nimble in comparison. So I think that may play into it. Like I know that there was
isn't there
controversy about the character.
Yeah, I was going to say about the character too. That didn't exist in the first game. They didn't have any controversial issues. Now there all of a sudden is.
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to the game. I'm still buying it. I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I'm hoping, although it's fleeting, I'm hoping that they announce it for PC because that's going to be the best place to play it. But yeah, I'm still getting it day one way or another. So
yeah, man, it's weird. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. Like I do think like it's a great franchise, you know. So we'll see how well it does when it comes out. If it'll do as good or better than Tsushima did. They did announce that they're doing the same thing kind of with the multiplayer DLC for it. So that'll hit later as well. After the game comes out for a few months. But yeah, man, you know, the biggest takeaway for me still, I think overall, just from Gamescom and conversation and just gaming in general is just transition. We're like moving into this new era of gaming and with access, like, you know, we talking about Play Anywhere, Xbox Play Anywhere, and all these things. and the importance of those features, I think, is getting more important. And I think devices like the Xbox Rock Ally X highlight that, the importance of it. So, I think it's interesting seeing the conversation starting to go somewhat to some of those things. I see a lot of misinformation being put out there about that device right now, because a lot of people are either actually just ignorant to its capabilities, or they're just being doing it on purpose to try and downplay the device a little bit. But overall, like once that hits the shelves and it's attracting the console audience, not just the regular PC handheld audience as well, you're gonna have different conversations. You know what I mean? It's kind of creeping into that like fanboy conversation now. Well, that's why you're getting this misinformation starting to get spread, because a lot of these people don't know what the device actually is, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see where that goes. But overall, man, like gaming for me is like it's in a transition phase. But with that means more access to games, more games, and I think it's awesome. But still, I think next year is going to be like that year. You know what I mean? Like 2026 is going to be
there's a lot of
insane
big milestones next year, right? So you got 25th anniversary for Xbox, GTA, right? Those are once every so often events, right? GTA is a once every decade GTA, right? And then you get the anniversary, you only get that once every 25 years, right? Technically. So this is a big deal for Xbox specifically and in GTA. So those are major milestones. So I agree with you. I do think next year is going to be a fucking banner year.
I mean,
for
just think
everybody.
about it. PTK, you could get a GTA, you get a Fable, a Halo, a Gears, a Forza, right? I mean, just give me those. I'm good. Like, hey, I'm set. On top of that, you could have State of Decay next year. You could like, I mean, the year stacking up for 2026. Now it's still got to happen. There's got to be no more cancellations. This game's actually got to release and all this stuff. But like, the year that is stacking up for 2026 after this deluge of awesomeness that we're getting in 2025 is pretty freaking epic. It's looking like it's going to be pretty epic. So that's what I can't wait for it.
Okay. All right. Great points. And I like the fact that you brought up that handheld point too. And I think I'm gonna segue to 3-bit on that one too, because you guys are handheld guys too. So a lot of you guys own different devices and things like that, have Steam Decks, things like that. But the handheld thing is interesting too, about the negativity that's been surrounding it. Now, you guys know I'm not the biggest tech guy. I'm probably the last person on this panel you would ask for any kind of IT or tech advice, to be truthful. But I do understand the idea of the device itself, and why it's made for Xbox gamers who understand the ecosystem. And I think it's funny that you see the people making those comments, Mav, aren't in the Xbox ecosystem, so they don't really understand how it functions and how those type of gamers. Because listen, I know we're all the same. We all play video games. That's a common denominator. But depending on the ecosystem you were in, you primarily spend your time in, a lot of that determines how you play your games, where you play them, quality of life stuff, what you're used to, certain features. Like you said, Play Anywhere it doesn't exist on PlayStation. That's not a feature. So you're not used to something like that. You don't really understand that concept if it's not something that you take advantage of every time you boot up your system. We do here if you own an Xbox. So I will say that, so be careful who you're listening to about that information. There's going to be 1,000 people having breakdowns and, doing in deep dives about that handheld. So just kind of, look around a little while. Don't necessarily pick the first person's information to go with, because there's going to be a lot of false information out there once we get some more deep dives on it. But 3-bit, coming out of that show, brother, like I asked Mav, just kind of where you at as gaming overall. I mean, that was a great show. You know, he said we're building towards next year. All of these companies are kind of building towards next year. It's going to be a big one. But where are you at? Just 3 months ago, you know, a lot of people were panicking. There was a lot of negativity in the industry, and then lo and behold, you know, here we are, overwhelmed again. We're right back in square one. 3-bit, too many goddamn games to play again, like where we usually are. So just where you at on everything?
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking towards the future, there are hardware announcements that's coming up, right? We have the ROG Ally X. We have the release of the next Xbox sometime down the line, if not 26, 27. Yeah, there's GTA coming up next year, which is going to change the gaming industry. You know, we already had like this year people being like, we're really late. We're gonna wait till we're gonna wait on the news to release our game based on GTA 6. So yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for the gaming industry as a whole. I think there's already too much games for me to play right now. Like just especially with job and life and things like that. I'm starting to find like comfort games of like what like I'm playing a lot of Rematch, for example. That's like a comfort game right now. Playing a lot of getting back into like multiplayer games. So I've been playing some Halo. So as soon as Helldivers 2 was announced for like ODST, oh yeah, I pre-ordered that as soon as it happened. I was like, oh really? Okay, pre-order. So yeah, I remember us talking about how cool it would be for ODST crossover, by the way, and side conversation. But like I remember us talking about how cool that would be because they clearly have ripped influence from a couple of things, right? We obviously know for Helldivers too, but ODST, like obviously, it makes perfect sense. So as we start to see these companies do what I'm interested in when you guys are mentioning like the ROG Ally and where that's kind of going and the negativity. Meanwhile, these companies are for the first time partnering with each other. You know, when we're finally getting Helldivers and then Xbox starting to make these partnership deals with whether it's ROG Ally or Sony. In the future, I mean, I only see good things for us as gamers. You're always going to get that negativity because a lot of it comes from the way the industry has always been. Like just from that mindset of like, this is how it's been in the past. I don't like change. People are never going to like change, as we've seen throughout the history of Xbox. When the Xbox One came out and they were like TV, which and then also having the messaging of being like, hey, if you need this, just buy an Xbox. You know, but just bad stuff happened on the marketing side of things. But in terms of where Xbox tends to be in terms of progression as a tech company, they are usually ahead of the game, and whenever there's something new in the tech sphere, people tend to reject it because they're used to a certain way. Like AI is becoming a huge thing in both the movie industry and the commercial industry. I've seen it, I've used it. So I'm seeing how it's changing things as well, and I'm sure it's going to change the gaming industry as a whole once they figure out how to best use it for them, performance wise and things like that. But overall, like man, I can't even really imagine what the next few years are going to look like, especially if Sony starts to really develop their strategy towards putting more things multi-platform. Maybe that accelerates their plan to put their games on like their own storefront. Maybe we heard rumors about that years ago. No idea where they're at in that process, but maybe because of these deals that could accelerate it. And when you have like Xbox have programs like Xbox Play Anywhere and them having the ability to essentially just like pick up your game and play it on different platforms so seamlessly, they are just setting themselves up for a really good future. And people are stubborn in their ecosystems, as we have seen with Forza Horizon, where a lot of people didn't want to buy Forza on Xbox because they are on PS5. And once it popped up on PS5, it kind of proves the point that people are comfortable in their ecosystems, and even if it's an amazing game, that a lot of people are not going to move over. And I think Sony and it has started to realize that, and that they're just leaving money on the table at this point. So it's going to become the ecosystem wars, and a lot of news and journalism sites are going to have to start adapting their messaging. I think I wasn't surprised when PS5 increased the price that we didn't see anything from the media about it, because the most of the media is very pro Sony. So I mean,
well, they picked a hell of a time to announce it as well too. In the middle of a busy week full of information, they picked a great time to throw it out there so it get lost in the cycle.
Yeah, they're also very smart about when they announce bad news. Like anytime Sony is about to announce something bad, it'll be right after Xbox does it, and or they'll do it in the middle of like a work day or something. They're actually pretty good about that, I will admit. But yeah, overall, like as a gamer, the fact that Sony is starting to see that putting games on other platforms could be beneficial to them, or in Xbox vice versa, with them increasing their ecosystem even further, is good news for us. So I mean, I don't know. The biggest problem for me is when the heck I'm going to have time to play a lot of these games. Looking forward to the environments I did on Fable. Looking forward to GTA. There's a lot of great games coming out, and that's what I'm most excited for. So, like, yeah.
Awesome. And shout out to, and I just want to throw this nugget out there. I just sent this into the DMs, Fuzz, this for you specifically, but it was like a WWE wrestler that mentioned Forza being in Japan or something like that. I just threw it in the DM. It's just ironic that we got all these people, and some even notable people, talking about this. So I don't know, throw that, use that as a log in your fire for Forza 6, Fuzz. It's just ironic. So I just put that in the DMs as well too, so you can take a look. But I agree with you, 3-bit. The future's bright, and it's funny. Things never really play out, or they're never really as bad as it seems when these things happen. Like, we never are happy about layoffs. I think we all understand that. None of us are ever excited when thousands of people lose their jobs all at once. Although that does not mean we don't understand that that's not a part of that's just a part of the industry as well. And that was always my point when, negative things happen. That, yeah, we get it. We've been here before. I've been gaming for damn near 30 years. A lot of us, 20 plus years. We've seen these things come and go, and it's always unfortunate, but more times than not, 3-bit, and you can probably back me up on this, it's usually more good than bad, I would say, by and large. And once again, we're still at a spot where we still have more games than I can even think about playing, even if you think this year has been a down year, right?
So, yeah, for sure. Sorry, I was trying to fix my mic.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, the gaming industry as a whole it is evolving quite a bit in terms of like they're trying to get faster development cycles. They are a lot of new players coming to the scene, because the AAA space is getting it's getting more and more blurred, because smaller teams are able to figure out how to get a lot of quality out of their games. So like that's good news for us. But it's also going to force those big people like the EAs, the Ubisofts, to kind of step up their game. Now that they're starting to see these indie developers really polish up their games to that AAA standard. So I'm super excited about it.
No, facts. So let me throw this over to you, Pong. And we've talked about this, Pong, in great length. Anytime we have, these type of weeks where we're getting a bunch of positive news, positive information, there's always going to be things that you can pick and choose. But when you just look at the industry, Pong, like, we're not really in a bad spot. We've talked about the golden age for 3-4 years now, Pong, and we're still in the middle of it, right? Like, we're still literally in the middle of this golden age, despite layoffs, despite, games not coming out on time, games coming out not necessarily 100% playable, but we're still in a very, very good spot. So just kind of where you at coming out of Gamescom, just overall, just the feeling going into next year.
I mean, short term, yeah, we're still in the golden age. Short term, we're still in the midst of, what has been an explosion of content, specifically games, for us to play. I mean, this generation has been, a lot of people will say it hasn't been a great generation just because, not all the first party's been there, with Sony kind of waffling on and games as a service and not back and forth, and obviously Xbox's early problems in the beginning of the generation and their purchasing. And so, but overall, when you look at the industry, I mean, we're getting more games than we ever had before, and the quality of games, while AAA has certainly, continued to, push things when it comes to graphics, that stuff, they've stumbled and they've had their problems, and UE5 is now back underneath the spotlight again, not the good spotlight, with questions about whether or not that's a great engine for anything going forward, due to the massive, overwhelming, I should say, a majority of games having issues that use Unreal Engine 5 to some degree, some greater than others, for this generation. So, but I think games wise, AA and indies are making AAA games now. Like they are coming up into that space, and we've seen time and time again, year after year, indies and AAs that have no business, in the general sense of what people would think, competing with AAAs, showing up and actually outdoing them, right? And that's the health of this industry, and that's what I've always said. Even if AAA is going to stumble, even we're going to see this contraction, and again, if you don't like layoffs, I guess buckle up. I mean, I think we're going through a major contraction coming down the road here, in the AAA space. I think things are going to change dramatically. I'll talk about that here in a second. But I think the AA space and the indie scene are extremely healthy right now, and I think and I actually believe they're getting stronger as we go here, because they create games in a lot of ways like AAA devs used to back in the 360 and PS3 era. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears poured into AA in the indie scene, which is not allowed in the AAA space because, things like crunch became a bad word. Life work balance became a rally call from devs and stuff like that. So whereas the AA and indie scene are under the pressure themselves to produce a game and to make it right, and they do whatever is necessary, just like the AAA space used to. So I think that overall, right now, short term, this industry is healthy. I think we're going to continue to see a absolute cornucopia of games each and every single year come out. And I think that we're good. Long term, headed in the next generation, I think this is the last grand hurrah before things massively change. I know gamers hate that, but I'm seeing next gen. Like we said, this gen was going to set the tone for what was coming down the road, and we didn't even know what was going to happen. Like this gen has been crazy with, Xbox taking a 180 mid gen, in their entire business model. And I think that Nintendo's going to be the lone holdout here, but I think overall the industry is going to go through a massive change starting next generation for sure. I think AI is going to upend a lot of tables in this industry. You're going to see people be able to create their own entertainment on demand, whether that is movies, whether that is shows, whether that is books, or whether that is video games. You're going to see that become a real possibility. That means a lot. That means that we're going to be in a whole new realm that I don't think people are ready for. AI itself, within the video game industry, is going to change people's perspectives about what can be done in a video game as far as NPCs go, as far as storytelling goes. We are going to see a revolution. And I'm not going to say it's all going to be rainbows and unicorns. It's not. There's going to be a lot of upheaval, a lot of questions. You're going to see it. I know people are going to absolutely hate this, but you're going to see the return of NFTs. You're going to see the return of, as we move into the digital age and everything goes onto blockchain, which is happening right now. We're getting ready. Regulatory processes happening. Everything from your mortgages to your driver's licenses are all going to be on the blockchain. we're not going to hear it the way that we did when everybody hated it and it was awful and everybody's like, this is the biggest scam ever. It's just going to start to become part of the norm in video games that they use the blockchain. And you might actually have the opportunity down the road to create your own items in game and lock them to blockchain and sell them. So I think there's going to be a massive upheaval. Next generation, next 10 years, into the next 20 years, you're talking about just rewriting what we think of in terms of the video game industry in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to be over the top dramatic. That's just how I see the crystal ball forming right now with where all of tech is going. And that is still with a lot of unknowns that could even amplify that even more, right? So we're going to get there. But yeah, I think this is the last hurrah of what we would look at as a more semi-traditional gaming generation with semi-traditional companies, with semi-traditional delivering of digital games to us, the way we do it now, buying and selling. But I think going forward, all of that may change, just like how we never used to think it would ever be possible to stream, movies and TV, and we're streaming games right now. But I'm just saying in general, like that thought process, nobody ever thought that was ever going to be a deal, right? Nobody ever thought that was going to be a thing until Xbox 360 showed up with this little company called Netflix and started promoting it on Xbox 360, and all of a sudden it opened people's eyes to the possibilities. So that's where we're headed. It's exciting. It's fascinating. And I've said this since I started podcasting, that this generation leading into next generation was going to be one of the most fascinating times to be a video gamer, because we are going to see a lot transform. And again, it took turns that I was not expecting, obviously. It took massive turns that I was not expecting. But here we are, man. I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. Yeah.
No, it's great. And like I said, I mean, all of that was standing because we do know that there's going to be massive changes. I mean, it's ironic how we're sitting up here talking, but we're still back in the same spot when it comes to gaming, as far as we still have too many goddamn games to play. There's still tons of games coming out every single day.
Years and years of content.
Years and years of content we're still getting. Think about all of the games we just talked about that we had heard about. Mav just mentioned it, 3-Bit mentioned it, you did, Fuzz just mentioned a handful of games that we've heard about 2, 3, 4 years ago. These aren't new games, but we're just getting them now, and this content's been out in public. You know what I mean? As far as the information about it, we've known about it, but we're just seeing it now in extended gameplays and release dates and trailers and things like that. So this is going to be something that's going to be happening on a regular basis. It's not going anywhere. So Fuzz, where are you at, bro? Like I asked everybody else, man. It's been a great week, and I think for me, just looking at all of the content, it just kind of reminded me of just, like I said, where we're at, reminded me of the conversations we had 2 or 3 months ago about the industry and, how it's constantly changing. But at the same time, we're still getting a ton of games. We're still getting a ton of content amongst everything else that's happening. As much as it's changing, the primary reason we're still here is for these games, and we're still getting a ton of those. That hasn't really slowed down. Even with the amount of layoffs and games closures and studios being closed, it's almost accelerated. It's almost going the other direction.
It's kind of a weird crossroad right now. Like I see gaming from the user standpoint at its greatest point ever, kind of thing. I think with the variety of like smaller teams, kind of like what Pong mentioned, where AI and various other tools out there will make a one-man studio look like it has 300 developers on it in some instances, and be able to surprise us and surprise the critics as well with games that punch well above their weight class, kind of thing. On the flip side, AAA, some of the bigger studios are in their rinse and repeat cycle, where I foresee some of the bad stuff, whether it be the layoffs and whatnot, the downsizing or the cancellations and so forth. That's going to continue to happen. I think it's going to take more of those smaller teams or smaller dev, studios producing, top selling games or producing games that are winning game of the year, and then AAA is going to be forced to copy because they typically don't seem to be the trendsetters that they once were. They seem to be like Apple, where it's like, oh, this is what people like. All right, we're going to try and do it better, kind of thing. So I see AAA going through that rinse cycle, for quite a few more years until they've come to a stable, either developer size or publisher size, or sticking to budgets or keeping things tidy so you don't either overspend or take too long on development. Forbid that there's any more pandemics or anything along those lines. I think gaming will get even stronger than what it is now, but on the bigger end of things, the bigger publishers are going to still seem to struggle. Even though they're making more money, they're going to struggle with some of the minute things, whether it be the budget sizes or studio sizes. Like I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop with Ubisoft, where it's like, oh yeah, we finally divested some of the IPs, and Eves is taking the good IPs and then dumping the rest, kind of thing, or whatever the case may be over there. But yeah, like I said earlier, as a end user or the gamer myself, this is the best it's been in quite a long time. It may not have quite the classics or memorable titles that people still revisit to this day from 20 years ago, kind of thing, but there are some that will probably be in that type of conversation 20 years down the road. And that's the good thing about how things are changing. Like, yeah, our attention spans are shortening. Yeah, our taste in certain games are changing a bit, and it seems like these free to play black hole games are gripping us even more and more each and every year, whether it be through season passes and skins and things like that. I think until us gamers as a whole break out of that cycle, and maybe cling to something a little bit different, whether it's more retro gaming or just totally futuristic sci-fi, something totally different that we're not even thinking of, type of deal. I think we're gonna be in this like I said, rinse and repeat kind of thing. But I'm happy as a gamer. New hardware, new games, that keeps me happy, and I foresee us having hardware for at least another generation or two. I think at some point, not saying that we're going to be gaming on our cell phones, but the devices themselves will be smaller. Like I kind of like, along with Pong was saying, like nobody knew that we'd be streaming, TV and games and things like we're doing today 10 years ago. I still kind of see the controller as being the entire console. All the guts that are in consoles today, you'll be able to, shrink it down to something that can fit in the controller.
Fit right into your brain.
I don't know.
Let's go. Let's go.
I could see that being a possibility, but I don't know. Me being old school, I'm not getting that chip installed.
No, neither am I. I'm just saying, people are talking about it, so let's go.
But like with the VR AR glasses, like I think once they're finally down to like your regular glasses type of size, like even using those types of things with like a handheld, I could see that growing, not necessarily being the norm, because that's still too pricey and still too cumbersome overall. But like I said, when the entire console can fit in a current day controller and be as powerful as a Series X or PS5 Pro, yeah, I think that's where we're headed, and hopefully gaming opens up to even more people at that point.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I think for me, that's one of the biggest things. We got another topic I want to get into specifically, but I think for me that's the biggest thing too, right? The adoption, the whole idea that it's not a big deal that we all play similar games or the same games even, right? Because that was something we've all held. I talk about we as in us as gamers. We've all held on to that walled garden strat, that idea. A lot of people still hold on to those ideas. And I think that coming down will make the biggest change. People will just get used to games being everywhere. Because I mean, for a long time, that was the reason to own a particular console, because there was a game that you couldn't get on the other one. Now that that's going away, that is a fundamental change from the last 25 years, right? As far as this gaming, right? You're only able to get Halo on an Xbox. You can only get Killzone or God of War on a PlayStation. You're only able to get Mario on a Nintendo. You know, and if that changes, I think that's a fundamental difference for a lot of people, and people are really going to have to get used to that going forward, especially if it works. Like, it's starting to kind of work now. We see it on a very, very small scale with Xbox and PlayStation to an even smaller degree, but as people get used to it and that becomes more successful, I can absolutely see it being, you know, just a normal thing. So I got more of a question. It's really for all of us, but this is for you and Mav too. I kind of want to dive into the Horizon 6 stuff that we just got today recently. And just kind of get you and Mav's opinion, everybody's really opinion on the idea that Forza 6 may be going to be taking place in Japan. So Mav, I gotta hear it, brother. Like, this is starting to bubble a little more. I posted, I know Nate the Hate kind of confirmed it. Tom kind of confirmed it. Now, these people aren't 100% right all the time, Mav, but they're pretty reliable. So just kind of where you at on that new Horizon 6 info.
Yeah, man. I mean, Jez is kind of doubling on it too. Like, with all of these things, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can pretty much count on it being in Japan at this point. So now I'm moved on to my questions of how will it be? You know, like, are they gonna give us? Are they gonna give us the cities? Are they gonna give us like Tokyo, like nighttime highway street racing? And because that's a big part of the culture, right? That's kind of where all that street racing culture came from, for the tuner aspect and all those kind of things, right? So, man, I hope we get that. Now, if we don't, and it's more just countryside, and they just kind of dabble in some of the little villages or whatever and stuff like that, that's cool too. It is what it is, right? But man, it's just like, ever since they started making these Forza Horizon games, I've always pictured, like, what if they go into the city of Tokyo? And it's something that I've always wanted, man. So we'll see if it happens. Now, the other cool thing that Nate the Hate had said was that they may be revealing this in Tokyo Game Show.
That's sooner than later. That's this year. That's unexpected. If true. Very unexpected. True. That is not on the bingo card, man.
Yes. So that'd be crazy, and it'd be fitting for being in Japan. That could be a guess of his. That's just kind of like an educated guess or whatever. But I mean, to announce a Forza game at a Tokyo Game Show would be like just crazy in general. But it also make me kind of question, when is it slated to come out? Would they potentially release it earlier next year if they're revealing it this early?
And right? How far along is it? Right?
Actually, generally it's like a late summer fall game, or late summer or fall game. But like, if it's ready in like March or April or something like that, you know, maybe they want to try and get ahead of GTA, you know, not that it's necessarily a 1-to-1 comparison kind of game, but you know, like, they're going to be wanting to get a big user base, and the talk of the town is going to be GTA for a while. So, and the other question is, will this one be day and date across all devices? Like, I think it could be. So,
I mean, they see a lot of success on PlayStation,
or will they be a year later thing? You know, like, just because of development reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see all these things, man. But like, I can't wait for the announcement. I want to see it. I want to see if they show the city. If they don't, I will be slightly disappointed, but it won't like take away my excitement for the game. But like, that's all I can think about. Thinking about it is, will they go there? Because more than anything, that would be what's new for Forza Horizon, right? Is to kind of go and flesh out a city a little bit. You know, they haven't done that yet. And like, if they could make Tokyo like the hub of the Horizon Festival, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be pretty sick.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. And then you could go out from there, you know? The other cool thing that I keep thinking about with this is the cars, because a lot of times the Forzas in general have a lot of European, right? They have more so European than anything, really. And will we be getting like the fully fleshed out, like how many different Toyotas and Nissans and Hondas and all of these kind of cars will there be? What eras will we get the cars from? Like I start thinking about all that stuff. Well, we have CRXs, S2000s, GSXs. Like I'm starting to think about all that kind of stuff, man. Like I just want to see everything. Can we have a Del Sol? Can we get a little 3-banger in there and soup it up, man? I don't know. It'd be pretty crazy to think about the tuner scene. Also, like, how big will they go into drifting? With that being a big part of the Tokyo culture and stuff as well. So, yeah, man, can't wait. I know Pong wants to see Fast and the Furious go into it. If they go in Japan, he wants
to come back.
Content.
It needs to come back for sure.
That would be dope.
That'd be cool, man.
Okay. No, so listen, Fuzz, I got to throw it over to you. I know you the Forza Horizon, you and Mav specifically, but and let me backtrack a little bit too. We forget we can really just ask 3-Bit. We have him here. We can just ask him when Forza's coming out. Don't forget. Like we don't have to guess or anything. Like we all forgot 3-Bit's here. He'll just tell us. Like, just tell us when the game comes out. 3-Bit, go ahead, bro.
Well, no, because it already would have been out had he not worked on it. See, he worked on it, so this is why we still don't have this game, right? This is why. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But man's got to eat.
Yeah.
No,
see, they told him that he was working on Japan, and suddenly he showed up with a bunch of art from Georgia, and all of a sudden they were like, we can't use this shit. This city does not look like Japan. And he's like, well, yeah, because this is my hometown, and I wanted it in there. And they're like, oh, man, we got to start all over again.
You got to use what's around you, Paul.
Right.
Yeah, we're just lucky this game wasn't canceled. I heard 3-Bit working.
But look, guys, my house is in there. Look, guys, you could drive by my house.
That's what people want to see.
3-Bit holding up the games, man. Come on,
giving the people what they want to see, which is
Georgia. Here's my art academy over here. Everybody, just check it out.
I put my sister's artwork in it, guys. Look, you can see her artwork
on the side of this building over here is a mural painted by my sister.
And that's when they kicked me out the project.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you guys got my stomach hurting over here. I'm sorry, 3-Bit. I just opened the floodgates on you. I apologize, bro. I didn't think it would go that way. But no, you're good. You're good. But no, I mean, even you, 3-Bit, I mean, the idea that this game is going to Japan potentially has been one that people have been wanting for it's been the most obvious request from Forza fans for forever, as far as I can remember. So just, your quick opinion on possibly this game being in Japan this time around.
So I am looking forward to this game. I think
that laugh right there is he's seen it.
Yeah,
you guys understand this. He's seen it, so he's trying to think about what he can't say, so he doesn't give it away. Trust me, I know this dude. Like, bro, after all these conversations, that laugh right there was like, yeah, what can I say? What can I say?
Yeah. No habla English. All right. Here's the thing with Japan and Forza is something I've been wanting to see for a long time. I think what Mav said was about like the culture of Forza, or Japan in general, like drifting. They have to really figure out the technology for if they're going more towards the city, which they are surely like their pipeline from working on Forza to Fable is ever so adapting. So like for like cities and just getting out of your car and stuff from Fable. So like the tech is going to, whatever future game they work on is going to be insane, because I'm sure like when you deal with an environment like Japan, there's a ton of cities, there's a ton of like corners and going up buildings and mountains and things like that. So I'm just really looking forward to them kind of adapting that. So, and that's
You mean you and them? You keep saying them like you're not part of this. What are you talking about?
Well, see, he can't even confirm that it's like Japan. Like, that's why he's walking around this
and stuff. Yeah, what's going on, 3-Bit? Is that something that you're not telling us?
But I gotta say, that little conversation right there, 3-Bear, are you confirming that we're gonna be able to own our own apartment in Japan and furnish it, and we're gonna have a garage? Because that's what it sounded like to me. They've learned a lot from Fable about walking around. Yeah, sightseeing.
Yeah.
Bro, customization.
Will I be able to visit a ramen shop?
You guys
we're gonna have some meetups with some car shows. Back in the day, Mav. Mav was about those. Let's go.
Oh man,
you guys gonna have snipers on my head.
3-Bit, thanks for confirming all this awesome goodies.
I know, right? We appreciate that, 3-Bit.
Hey, I didn't say that.
I mean, you pretty much confirmed drifting, night cities, city driving,
Vin
car
Diesel
meetups, getting out of your car.
Yep, you just, fully rendered people, going shopping, owning a garage, going to car shows.
I didn't even think about getting out of your car until you mentioned it.
Oh man! I'm going on.
He wanted us to be able to walk up to the murals.
That's the
main feature.
Yeah, for sure.
Take selfie photos near the murals and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So I got to get you in on this one, Fuzz. I got it. I know I got to get you in on this one because I got to know. You know, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but this is something I know personally. You've been pleading for forever. You know what I mean? Like you've literally been asking, and I know you've literally been asking. You're not one of them people that like, oh yeah, you know, the community's asking for it. No, Fuzz has literally asked him for this. He's literally asked him. So just where you at, man? It's bubbling. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. When nothing's confirmed, but there's a lot of people that know a lot of different things that are saying this is the case.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing is highway racing. Maybe some customization for the traffic. The no hezzy gameplay that you see in things like Assetto Corsa would be unbelievable in the visual stylings of a Forza game in Japan. I think that game would probably live forever at that point. So it'd be one of those you definitely want to buy it before a delisting kind of thing. But I'm in agreement with Mav on, you know, racing in the city, the highway structure that they have in Japan. It's been, you know, highlighted in several games, and it's even in, you know, GT7, although you can't really do, you know, street races. You're doing more of like a circuit kind of thing, but to have something like that in Japan would be awesome. The cars, I hope they continue to have the same brands that they have in the game currently. Would it be nice to get some of the K cars that kind of kicked off this rumor with somebody, I guess, from the studio doing photography of the smaller cars. So you're basically your tiny cars or sub compact cars. It would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think at this point they know what the community wants. They've heard the cries and requests long enough that this would definitely be something special, especially with it being on current gen only. Unfortunately, those still on Xbox One or even for that matter PS4, your SOL. Well, Xbox One you could still stream it through, you know, Game Pass Ultimate and stuff, so you could still use your Xbox One more than likely. But yeah, that would be huge for them to take that engine, you know, turn it up to 12 with what the Series X and S can do. Yeah, I envision neon lights being a way to face melt any onlooker of this game, and then, you know, drifting down the mountainside. Yeah, like it's funny how they had the fantasy track for Forza Motorsport. And it's like, they could probably detail it up just a little bit more with actual signs from the, I forget what mountain it is now, but, put that in, Horizon and, make an event built around that, almost like a reverse Pikes Peak kind of deal. Instead of climbing the mountain, you're drifting down the mountain kind of deal. That would be awesome. But yeah, I think it's time. They got the hardware that can handle, that engine. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we'd even have it where it would wind up being a even more stunning title for cross-gen. Like if the next console is holiday 26 or sometime in 27, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're building it, or I would hope that they're building it so it works on both the current gen and the next gen smashingly. Like that would be the big thing, because we need that type of arcade racer. Like Need for Speed, they've kind of stepped away and they're on pause now. I guess Unbound didn't do quite what they had hoped. There's nothing over on PlayStation from an arcade racer standpoint. And it looks like Ubisoft is not really interested in doing the crew anymore. Like they copy the whole festival stuff with Motor Fest, I guess it was. And I don't think it did the numbers that they had hoped in comparison. So having this in Japan, yeah, I think every car fan, not just arcade racing fan, but every car fan would probably wind up finding a way to pick up this game, just for the fact of the variety of cars, the scenery, everything. Like even if they just want to use it for photo mode, and stuff
people know they're going to be getting as well. The quality, people know for it's on everything now. Before it was just an Xbox thing. It's no longer just an Xbox thing. The secret is out. You know what I mean? Like people knew Forza was great. People really know now Forza is a top tier. It's the best arcade racer on the market, period. And I don't think it's close. And I think that this game, if it is in Japan, will be a huge game. Like the game in scope might not be as big as 5, because 5 has been in development cycle for, not development cycle, but 5 has been around for about how long now? 3, 4 years, 5 years, something crazy like that. I don't know the biggest gap between
years. It used to only be 2 to 3 years was the gap normally, but like 4 was a little bit longer by a year, and then this one is like pushing on 2 years longer than what it would normally be. So it would be well worth it, doing Japan, considering, hopefully, like kind of like what Steve was saying in the chat, like Japan really isn't all that big overall. Like as far as Tokyo itself, to like if you start looking at a 1-to-1 scale, not that they're going to do a 1-to-1 scale, it would be awesome if they did, but if they could do a lot of the highlighted, tourist points and things like that, and make it feel like it's pretty much the entire city, and that would be more than enough for most Forza Horizon fans to enjoy that map. It would probably wind up still being a bit bigger than what it is in Mexico, as far as trying to get different scenery areas, as far as the mountainside and the city and the highway and stuff like that. But yeah, fingers crossed everything is true. And Tokyo Game Show would be an awesome way to announce it. Like that's them knowing how to do their marketing at that point. That would be one heck of a way to announce that game and its location and whatnot.
All right. Let me throw this over to Pong before we wrap up the show. I got to get your opinion on this too, Pong. I know you're not the biggest Forza, player, but you understand the French. I know you play it quite a bit, but you're not like Fuzz.
I'm not Fuzz. I don't think anybody's Fuzz. Fuzz is like the 0.01%. He ain't even the 1%. He's like the 0.01%.
The 0.01.
Nah. But I played a ton. I mean, I don't know how I had almost 250 hours in Forza Horizon 5.
Well,
I think.
I take that back.
I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. Anyways, I don't have much to add because everybody's covered pretty much everything. Again, I've always been on, this has been a dream of mine for a variety of reasons. Both Mav and I have talked about this extensively because we're Tokyo Extreme Racing fans from back in the day. We've wanted the city night driving. I think that if you look at Playground, I think, again, just off the top of my head, this game may not feel like other Forza Horizons for what Fuzzy was just touching on. a little bit there. I think this one might not be that, especially coming from what we just got in 5. This might feel a little bit more closed, like a little bit less open. There's going to be definitely open areas, but I think that the overall game is probably going to have this. It's going to feel like it is set in Japan on a little island. Like this is an island nation, right? So I think you're going to feel that compared to some of the other ones, but I think that's a good thing. I think this is going to be a change up that they kind of needed in a lot of ways, for not just, not reinventing the wheel by any stretch of the imagination, but really, getting down and dirty with the culture that started the entire tuner, phenomenon that went worldwide after this. Every area has had their type of cars. Obviously, we've got American Muscle here. You go to Euro, you got the Euro cars. Obviously, again, every area has had their type of cars, and obviously Japan was the tuner scene. But I mean, you had, Yakuza, for God's sakes, racing over in Japan. So this has been a massive part of their culture, and then it came westward over here. So this is, I think that Playground absolutely has to lean into that. I don't think they can avoid it. I think it would be a massive mistake if this game comes out and it's like, oh yeah, this is Forza Horizon 5 reskinned in Japan. So go to Mount Fuji and enjoy yourself. Go drive through some cherry blossoms, and that's what we're gonna give you. No. And they've never done that. They've always respected the cultures wherever they've brought the Forza Horizon experience. So I have to believe with every bone in my body that this game is going to cater and center around that. It's the only thing that makes sense. And I think it will be great for the reasons that Fuzzy brought up, the reasons that Mav brought up, the reasons that Steel and I have talked about. Again, Steel's playing No Hezi right now in Assetto Corsa, bringing back street racing, which has been, it's been touch and go for all these years since the prime of Need for Speed, really. Need for Speed has tried to bring it back to varying degrees of success, but now EA is shelving Need for Speed from what we're hearing about. We need a new game to pick up that street racing on the freeways in the middle of traffic type of experience, and who better to do it than Playground? So even though that never really has been a thing, why not? They're the best at what they do. There is zero reason why they can't get it done. And it would absolutely 100%, everybody would freaking love it, man, if they pulled this off. And I think that is something that they're going to do here, along with the drifting, which is also massive over there. They have their tournaments are crazy over there with the drifting. I have to imagine they are going to have that as well. And then I'll just say this, because I can't really add anything that anybody else has said. Have all the cars, have all the vehicles. Again, if 3-Bit is confirming that we're able to get out and go shopping and customize and do, hey, that's even better. That'd be on a whole nother level, and I'm all down for that too. Playground, go right ahead and pull that off, bro. That would be dope. But I think that they do. I think they have an opportunity for the licensed DLC to bring back Fast and the Furious, because we have heard from Vin himself that they are going back to the racing roots after they've gone off on the deep end and gone into space and all sorts of shit that have nothing to do with cars, that have nothing to do with culture, but just turned it into an action series, again, making billions of dollars. So I don't blame them. But they even have said that they're going to come back to what started the whole Fast and the Furious scene, which was the tuner scene, which was racing, which was the cars, which was the culture, which was all of it that goes into that, the whole atmosphere. What a better time. You're going back to Japan. You could have this whole classic setup of the heyday of tuners and freaking have Fast and the Furious DLC drop in there.
With no other real competition in that space. There's nobody.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, because nobody else is doing these types of games. And again, that city traffic racing isn't being done really anywhere right now, because again, Need for Speed's getting shelved. And again, the last game was good. It certainly was, but they obviously didn't find the success. So here's Playground. And again, even though they haven't really focused on that, I know they could pull it off. And if they get the nighttime racing, like Fuzzy was talking about with the neon, the lights, the city lights and all that shit, and you roll up on people and you get to flash your headlights to start the race, we're all in. We're all in. It'll be a massive, huge hit, because I think when most people have talked about this in the past of Playground going to Japan finally, that's the vision I can guarantee you most of the hardcore racers have in their head, right? Most of the hardcore racers are thinking that style of game coming from Playground. So, again, we just haven't had it in a long time. And I think it's time to bring it back. And Playground, I have all the faith. So I can't wait to see this, man. I can't wait to see the tease. If it's Tokyo Game Show, oh boy.
It's gonna be amazing.
Oh boy, let's go. Yeah.
So I legitimately think, the more you guys are talking, I'm hearing about it, this could legitimately be one of the biggest announcements of the year. Legitimately, if it is what we are talking about, it potentially is, because once again, think about this too. I just said it a minute ago. This is no longer just an Xbox game now. There are 5 million people that got to play it on a PlayStation.
It will be
everywhere. It will be everywhere, and it will be a much larger announcement. More people will be paying much more attention than normal. For this particular type of and like you said, it's perfect, because think about Japan. There's no other racing game being made. We don't have these kinds of games. You just mentioned it. They're not being made at this point. Who else to do that but Forza? On top of the fact that they've never been in Japan. Like, logically, everybody's just literally been waiting on them to do this anyway.
Yep.
So,
and you have the car clubs, you have the car, you have the car club, you have the car shows. If you could do that, like Midnight Club back in the day and all that kind of, again, there's all these games that already laid all this foundation that have kind of disappeared or just haven't been the same for a long time. And again, you got one of the best, if not the best current, obviously, dev in the car racing scene, car game scene. Why not? Let's just take all those ideas and roll them into one right in Japan. You're gonna have one of the you'll have the biggest seller of all time, guaranteed.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. I think
it'll be a massive announcement, because the last Forza Horizon took this franchise to another level. So like you're talking about, will it be the biggest announcement of the year? Like it'll be the game that gets the most players for Xbox.
I agree. I can see that. Yeah.
I think more than Halo, more than Gears, more than, I mean, how many did we get on Forza Horizon 5? Like,
it's 50 million now. I think it's 50.
Yeah, it was like
50.
20 within like weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts, bro. When the next one gets revealed, especially if it's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, it can be insane. So I love that, and the fact that like this is kind of getting some legitimacy now makes me even happier, especially for you super big Forza fans, you Pong, Fuzz, you Mav. I love the fact that you guys are getting fucking all hype about this, dude, because like you said, it's something that everybody's been asking for. It's been the most obvious thing for Playground to do for years now, and they just have not pulled the plug. So if this is what they're doing, and it would be just they sneaky too, right, Mav? Hella sneaky, right? We just didn't think that they were doing anything until next year, no kind of announcements. That would be sneaky as hell if they were able to stick this in at TGS, considering this is absolutely a big enough announcement for a showcase, or even hell, VGAs.
Yeah, maybe just do their initial reveal here at TGS, and then maybe next summer showcase do like maybe it'll be the direct game, you know.
Well, I mean,
or maybe
we got another problem now. See,
maybe have it at the January direct. You know, like
we're running in these now. The schedule's getting all ruined now. The schedule I had in my head is good.
What games do we think are actually going to hit next year for Xbox? I mean,
well, I mean, I had asked last week about this, I said 4 specific games. I believe it was Halo, it was Forza, Fable, and Gears. I believe I said which order, and I think we all kind of put them in order, like 2 this year, 2 in 26, 2 in 27. Pong, help me out on this one. I think a majority of us put Forza in 27, did we? Or was it 26?
No, it's 26. Forza was 26.
Yeah,
Fable was the one that's teetering on the edge.
You're right.
Because we've heard the smoke potentially that they could be pushing it, which would make sense. So then we were leaning into the fact that it would be Gears, Halo, and Forza again, and then Fable would start off, probably start off 27. But yeah, I think that's the majority of us.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, great topic, and I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up on that note. I wanted to have that Forza conversation. I had to get that in before the end of the show.
If that tease comes out and they just rip it right off of Tokyo Drift and come out with Teriyaki Boys and Tokyo Drift from Fast and the Furious, and they just tease it that way, bro, and they just have all the classic tuners drifting through with Mount Fuji in the background, the cherry blossom drive. That's all I need. It's over with. That's all I need.
Yeah, they don't need to do much. They definitely don't.
20 million pre-orders.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy for a lot of people, man. But before we go ahead and wrap up the show, obviously I want to give a shout out to everybody who attended the show, everybody watching live right now. You guys are all fucking amazing. Everybody, you just came and hit the like button, subscribe as well too. You guys are fucking awesome. But let me go ahead and go around the panel here. Let our guests make sure they get their outros in. First and foremost, Mav, I appreciate you coming through, cousin of the show, Mr. FSP. Even though you're a little under the weather, make sure you came through and show love as well too. So let everybody know where they can find you as well, man. I appreciate you stopping through, brother.
Hey, man, it's always fun to be here on the shop. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to playing some games with you guys sometime soon. Hopefully Battlefield 6, we can get you to play with some PTK.
For sure,
yeah, when that drops. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. Shout out to the chat. If you guys want to check out what we got going on over there, just find us on Fun Speculation on YouTube. Also check out, we haven't posted anything in a few weeks because we've been so busy, but me and Kate are starting up a new thing called SUBSCRBE Network, where we're going to be doing some vlogs and stuff, and another podcast eventually as well there. So check that out if you got some time. But appreciate everybody here. The chat rocks. You guys rock. It's good seeing you, 3-Bit. Been a while, broski. Hopefully you're doing good, man. But yeah, everybody, thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. You guys know where to find Mav, man. Not too far. He's always here at the Shop Podcast, man. At least a couple times a month usually. So go show him some love. Shout out to everything you got going on over there too, Mav. You and Kate. Shout out to you and your family as well. Hope all is well, brother. And once again, you're always welcome here, Mav. Always, always welcome, no matter what, bro. We always love having you here, bro. So thank you for hanging out with us today. Next, we got Mr. 3-Bit. Appreciate you stopping in. I know you got the message a little late. You're not necessarily on X side. I always have to remind myself, oh shit, I gotta go post on Blue Sky for 3-Bit because he ain't on X like that. But I appreciate you hitting me up and getting in today, bro. But let everybody know where they can find you, and we appreciate you always being here at 3-Bit.
No, I appreciate you guys. You guys, this is a great show. Gamescom, I still gotta catch up. You guys at the Future Game Show. So I forgot about that. So I gotta check that out as well. But no, always a good time with you guys. Always a good show with being on the show with you, PTK, Mav, and Pong, and of course the Fuzz, me and him on Pixelated Echoes. You guys can find me pretty much on the Bluest of Skies and then Pixelated Echoes. Those are the main platforms I'm on. There is in terms of like cool announcements. I mean, I've been really busy the past few months, and you guys should see something cool drop next month or something.
Another Forza announcement. Thank you. We finally got out of them. Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No, there's gonna be some cool announcements. I'm gonna be posting about a TV show that I am working on, so just keep an eye out for that. And that's pretty much it. But always a good time to be on the show with you guys. So I appreciate the invite, PTK, and I saw it late. I was like, oh shoot. So no, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Not a problem. Now, Mav had a dropout as well too, so he said bye everybody in chat as well too. We got to jump out. Got to take care of some business. But thank you, 3-Bit. Always love having you here, brother. Always glad to get you here. I got to get on Pixelated Echoes too. We're gonna make some time to do that. I am free on Sundays after the show, so we'll make some time. I'll get on the schedule, but I love you guys show, you and Fuzz, and you guys put on a great show in the evening time. So chat, you guys, if you haven't gone over there, make sure you subscribe to Pixelated Echoes. Go follow him on Blue Sky. Download the app. It's free. It don't cost anything. So go follow 3-Bit over there as well too, man. So thank you for all of the insider information too. We all appreciate that, man.
I didn't say nothing.
Now I know why you got him on here. I mean, that was a great play, PTK.
Yeah.
Like that was way under the radar. Like I didn't even think about it until we started talking and you brought it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's right. No wonder he brought him in. And even though we don't have him on camera, we still got the chuckle. We got the confirmation laugh. God, man, it's just beautiful.
Everything.
I love it.
Everything.
Worst poker player in history, 3-Bit. I love it.
Terrible. You're playing with your cards backwards, 3-Bit. You playing with
confirmation of full customizable characters, getting out of the car, be able to buy apartments, going to car shows, eating at noodle shops, bro. We're all in, bro.
Forgot the Vin Diesel.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, 3-Bit gave it to us. Love it.
Yeah. Love it. But shout out to you 3-Bit. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, like I said, for just making time, hanging out with us this evening, man. And moving on to my brothers, the people that make this show what it is. First and foremost, you, Mr. Pong. So, man, another great show. This week was fucking awesome and amazing. We had so much to talk about. So once again, let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, no, it was great to be here, everybody. Absolutely, again, love it being here, and it was awesome to have Mav and 3-Bit both swing on through tonight. So always love getting time with those guys, along with you, ptkblam and Fuzzy. And like I said, obviously, again, getting info out of 3-Bit is just priceless around here, man. It doesn't happen much anymore, but God, it's good. It still works. So anyways, had a great time in chat. You guys were absolutely incredible. Fun week. Lots of gaming news again. So much going on. I was so unprepared this week for most of the shows, but just getting to talk about it and getting to hear the excitement from everybody. And again, there was a lot of good stuff announced this week. And it was we're gonna have one hell of the end of the year here, man. We got a lot more shows coming up and a lot more gaming to get done, man. So everything's lining up. The stars are lining up for another just spectacular year, and we're here to talk about it, which is the best part. So love you all. Thank you for that. And otherwise, you know how to find me, Pong Soul, everywhere. Follow me, I'll follow you back. My podcasting week starts on Thursday night over on the Fun Speculation Network. This past week, if you weren't there, Mav had to give me the chair back, because if you heard him tonight, he was sicky again, so he just couldn't handle it. So I rolled in there and took over the show again like we used to on PM to PM. Again, completely unprepared. I was not ready for it, but I did it. Steel rolled through. We had a great time. But every time you come through Thursday night, you never know who's going to be there. Jasper joined us as well, because the family is completely invited on Thursday night, so whoever can comes on through. So Thursday nights, we don't have a name for the show, just the Thursday night special Xbox Ultimate, not PM to PM fun show. Be there for that on 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. And then, of course, Saturdays mornings, it's living split screen, 3+ hours. We did 2 weekends of Battlefield 6 beta live gameplay. And this last weekend, this last Saturday, yesterday, we were back with a regular show. So join myself and my brother from another Steel Rain, living split screen every Saturday morning. Split screen is all one word, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Take you from your morning to your afternoon to your evening, depending on where you are in the world. We talk a lot of good gaming. Our chat takes us every which way, which was no different than this week, man. We had some really off-the-wall conversations I was not expecting to have. So join us every Saturday for Living Split Screen, and then obviously, God willing, back here with my two brothers right here, ptkblam, Fuzzy, and usually a guest or two. It's a golden age, people. It is. It's the golden age of gaming. So get out there, have a great rest of your weekend, great start to your week. Play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. PTK, get us out of here, brother.
Appreciate you, Pong. Go follow Pong. You guys want to keep up with what he has going on throughout the week, man, go follow him on X. All that information is down below. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for always being here. The battery of the Shop Podcast, man. And last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. Another great show in the books, brother. Every week, man. We keep doing it again and again and again. Show keeps getting a little bit better. We're all back into the groove now. This is 6 weeks now in a row, I believe. So we getting back into the swing of things, brother. But let everybody know where they can find you, Fuzz.
Oh man, this was an awesome show. Always love when we have Mav and 3-Bit on here, and just always love doing this show with UPTK and Pong. Yeah, this is pretty much my favorite hobby. This is what I always look forward to on the weekend and stuff. So it was great to be here with everybody here, and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out. Greatly appreciate the support. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate it. And for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere on social media. You'll be able to find me. And me and 3-Bit will be, I guess, in about a half hour or so over doing Pixelated Echoes tonight. And then on Monday, Xbox Lunch Break Special with Boom on Double Barrel Gaming. And then on Thursday, no music videos and no random movie filmings coming up. So I should be with Fun Speculation on Thursday evening. And then look forward to being right back here. Well, actually, Friday, Breakfast with Boom. And then Fright Night with Ferocious Fee this coming Friday. We're finally going to do the Dead and Breakfast movie because traffic kind of made us miss the podcast last go around. But and then look forward to seeing everybody in the chat here. Same time next week, next Sunday. Same time, same place. Hope to see you guys then. Thanks again.
For sure. 3-Bit, I want to make sure I got to you. I got to you, didn't I?
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, I got the 3-bit, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. For some reason, I feel like I didn't get the 3-bit. Okay, awesome. So last but not least, your host here, ptkblam across the board. I just appreciate everybody hanging out and showing love to the Shop Podcast, man. The show has been just so awesome, man. It means so much that you guys coming to hang out. So tune in every single week, 3 p.m. AZ time, 6 p.m. EST. Come check us out. Come follow me on TikTok as well. All that information is down in the description, man. But I appreciate you guys. And like Pong said, it is the golden age of gaming. There's way too many games out here to be arguing about. So go play some games and have some fun. Enjoy time with your friends and family. But other than that, same time, same place next week. We will more than likely have a guest or two as well. So tune in as well. And we'll see you guys then. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good one. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, y'all.